Hey
Hello,
everybody!
hello,
So,
hello.
how y'all doing today? Tonight? I guess
Happy
it is nighttime.
Tuesday. Well,
I mean,
I always say it's daytime until it's actually nighttime. Like until it's visibly night, we're still in the
that's fair.
daytime.
That is
You
fair.
know what I mean?
100% fair.
It's the same with like the rules about how many sleeps until, whatever.
Use the
Until I
hashtag
actually
Chris.
go to sleep, it's not a thing. Like it's not a
Yeah,
new day until I've actually gone to bed. None of that.
yeah. I fully agree with that. Yeah.
Right?
What is the hashtag piss? That's what I want to know.
That's what Dave said. Haha, I thought that was funny. And I don't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't know either. Okay, good.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
yes,
he has no
then
clue.
we
He
have
just put
one
it in there.
shared brain cell. That was evident the first night that Dee and I met.
Yeah, like literally the first time.
Like legit, legit.
Yeah.
Uh, we were like, and this is how we become friends. Like
Mhm.
this is a thing now. Thanks for covering
Oh,
my
all
face up,
right.
you
Yeah, I
jerk.
guess we aren't the centers of the show anymore. It's the merch.
Because he designed
I'm
the
hearing
merch. That's why
static in my own ear when I'm talking. Are you guys hearing it too, or is it just
I
me?
don't. I can't hear anything myself,
Okay,
but
then it's a me
chat.
issue.
If you hear it, let us know.
Yeah,
It is a
please
you
do. Because again, we're professionals here.
100%.
Yeah.
But the computers and technology does not always cooperate. So we are the utmost of professionalism. The computers, however, are not. So And
I
that's my
currently like
story,
to
and I'm
burn my
sticking to it,
computer to the ground. The
right?
amount of technology issues I've had work-wise in the last, like, month and a half, if I could just burn all technology down right now, I'd do it. I'd do
Yeah,
it.
that's a bummer. That's a
I'm
huge
mad
bummer.
at it.
My computer. Are you gonna burn your computer to the ground? Then don't do it. You just fix
Do
the
it.
you
Do it.
do it, you won't.
Do it, you won't.
Uh,
It's
Good
Tuesday,
times,
y'all.
great oldies. It is Tuesday. It is, but I have an impromptu week off next week, and I'm kind of excited about
Ooh,
it.
that
Um,
is exciting.
I just kind of think that it ended up being that I didn't schedule myself when I put that. You're right. I won't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
$2,000 is a lot.
don't just burn $2,000. Like
No.
that's not a good decision to make.
Mm-mm. No, it's
But
not.
yeah, so I think I didn't put my September schedule was the end of the one that I put in, and then I had to do October, November, December, and I think I just missed scheduling myself for that week. But I was like, you know what? Kind of okay with that. I got some shit I got to do,
Yeah.
stuff to move and whatnot. Maybe my dad will come out and help me install the garage door opener that I've had for 3 months that has yet to be in there. Um, right. 100%. I get that. If I win the lottery, there's a whole lot of stuff that I'm gonna do.
Oh, if I win the lottery, y'all aren't seeing me for 3 fucking months. I'll be out hoeing it
Can
up
I
in Europe. Imma be doing the
can I come with
most.
you? Like just
Yeah,
a
sure.
personal security bestie, whatever
Yeah.
capacity.
We just won't be probably doing a show because I plan
Oh hell
on,
no,
just, like, living the high life for 3 months. You know what I mean?
right? I'm 100% behind that. Um,
Good.
Also,
Good.
before I forget, because I will forget, it's the 17th or 18th. I don't remember which day. If it's the 18th of October, I won't be able to do a show that day. But I'll message you. Just
18th
in case.
is a Tuesday.
Yeah, I just have to figure out which one is the wild game that I'm
I
I was
know, so
thinking
that's
about
the
it
thing
earlier.
is that
Oh, it's the
we're
17th.
getting
Never
ready
mind.
to get into
I'll be at
hockey
the show.
season.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
speaking of
hockey
that,
season means that, schedule might have to flux a little bit because,
I
we're both big
don't
hockey people, and so if we're going to a game, we're not doing a show. Not happening,
hell to the no. Love you guys.
right?
Love the show. Love doing this. Love being here. Hockey is slightly more fun.
Being, like, at the stadium is, like,
Yeah.
slightly more important.
Yeah.
I can forego, like, watching it on TV, that's fine, I'll just
Right.
be checking the score on my phone the entire game, and y'all get over it. But,
Right.
like
I might have it on the TV, like silent in the back. You might hear me cuss. Whatever.
right? Yeah, suddenly we'll be in the
Totally
middle of
different.
the story and I'll just go, "Fuck."
Right? God damn it, learn how to play hockey. Oh, wait, sorry.
Right? 100%.
Yeah, Tourette's might come out. Well, they're not easy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so it's the Monday night is the game I'm going to, so that's a moot point. I apologize for
Okay,
cutting
good.
you off, but I didn't. It was one of those where I remembered it, and I was like, I gotta check on this.
Yeah.
Um,
While we're talking about show stuff that our audience does not care about fucking at all,
right?
um,
They like to be
in
involved. I think it is.
November, I will for sure have to skip one show because I will be at a convention for work, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up having to leave that Tuesday.
Okay,
Um, Not positive yet. I'll have more information on that tomorrow.
okay.
But
Yeah, just let us know.
for those of you who don't know our names, because I think we just
Yeah,
jumped
I
right
was
into
totally
shit.
like getting there.
I was just like,
Yeah.
huh,
I was like,
do
I
people
gotta
know who
circle
we
back,
are?
but how do I circle back without it being awkward? But you did it for
Nah,
me.
just make it
I appreciate
awkward.
it.
It's fine. Yeah, you're welcome. I am. Uh, I'm D-Bag. This is my co-host Danger Water. We are the femme fatales of LTN Media.
Oh yeah.
We are here to keep the boys in line because they're too much. They're just too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's your first time.
Viking, shut up.
Um, yes, Dave, thank
Viking
you.
goes, it's my first time here. What are y'all's names?
D, and I'm
Viking
also
knows our names.
Danger. And
The Anger.
That's why we're the double D estrogen power up.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why we're the double D estrogen power
Yeah,
hour.
there are multiple.
Like, that's one of the big ones. You know what I mean?
Well, wait. So there's that reason, and then there's like 4 other reasons
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
collectively one reason, right? Like,
Right. Right.
Dave is minding it out for you, but you see Dave.
Mhm.
The best.
That's probably for the best. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is my bestie from another testy, as I love to
Yes.
call her.
Mhm.
I almost said that to a client at work today who would have not found it funny.
Yeah,
I
probably
was just
not.
talking about doing the show, and I was like, "Oh, it's my bestie," and I had to catch myself.
Yeah.
I was like, "Let's not go there with this." Yeah,
No, not as you're,
let's not.
like, doing what you do for work especially.
Trying to be
Probably not a
professional.
great
Yeah, like
idea. Yeah.
not the best thing.
Mhm.
Uh,
That's funny as shit, though.
right?
Oh, I love it.
Anywho,
Uh,
how have
yeah.
you been? Anything new, exciting
Uh,
when lacrosse season started for you, coaching?
yeah, it did. We just finished up week 2. I say, like, yeah, it did, just because I'm so tired now. Like, we're only doing clinics 1 day a week, so I have nothing to be. It's not like the spring season where I'm a fucking basket case.
Right.
Um, but there's just so much going on, and because in the fall we're not a priority sport like we are in the spring, we get really shitty fields. So we're on grass fields right now. And with my plantar fasciitis being on grass fields that aren't
Yes.
well maintained, I'm constantly on uneven ground, which is like stressing that muscle
Yeah.
in my feet. And so I come home Sunday nights and I'm like in excruciating pain. And like yesterday, I told my boss, I was like, hey, I'm working out of my bed today. Don't fucking call me. Like, don't set up a
Yeah.
meeting with me. I don't want to talk to you. I like don't want to have to get up because I'm in too much pain. And she was like, maybe go to the doctor, but also like, cool, I won't talk to you. That's fine. Have a good one. And I
Right.
was like, all right, bet.
Good.
um, so I'm just like, ugh. I would be much happier if we had better like field setup during this time, but we don't, and that is what it is. You know what I mean? What can you do? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. There's only so much you can do this time of year in particular.
Yeah. And then I double stressed it. The reason why it was so fucked up this week is because on Saturday, my parents were like, "Hey, do you want to go to Farmville for an auction?" And I originally
Okay.
told them like, "What are you going to give me that's going to make it worthwhile?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Nothing." And I was like, "Okay, then I'm not going." And then my little brother was like, "Oh, you guys are gonna be in Farmville? Hey, cool. Why don't I show up?" Because he lives like an hour out from there.
Okay.
And I was like, "All right, well, if he's gonna be there, then I'm going because like I love him." And they're like, "Oh, great. We see where we rate on the scale." And I was like, "Yeah,
Well,
fucking
yeah.
of
Hi.
course.
Like,
Hello. What did you
why are you
expect?"
surprised by this? Yeah. Okay.
Right. Um, so I was like, "All
And
right,
I love
cool."
you,
So we
mom.
decided to go. Oh, I love my parents so much,
I
and they
do
know
too.
that. Like I was
I
just
do.
being a shit.
Oh
But
yeah.
they
Like,
like we had to leave at like 6 o'clock in the morning to go to this fucking thing, and I'm
oh
not a morning person. So
no.
that's why
No, thank
originally I was
you.
like, it's not worth it. But then when it was like, all right, well, we're gonna see more family, I was like, all right, that makes it more worth it because I can see them any day of the week. Like they live 6 minutes from me, so not
Yeah.
that big of a deal.
Right.
Um, so we get on the road, and I like text my little brother. I'm like, hey, we'll see you soon, right? And he was like, well, here's the thing, my dog Seiko got into something last night, which we think he ate like the leather binding of a baseball that just magically found its way into the yard in the middle. Wookie, oh my God.
Hey,
Thank you for
Wookie.
sending your viewers over
Yeah,
here. That's so sweet.
that's awesome. I
Yeah.
also just saw it pop up on the screen, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen that happen before.
Right?
Gee, what's up,
Hi, G.
buddy?
Good to see you.
Wookie, I apologize for not tuning in today to your stream. I was like
Mm,
attempting to do music. Yeah, music. My
mm,
makeup is what I meant to say. The other M word,
yeah.
and could not focus on many things. But
Yeah.
do
We
love
appreciate you,
and
though.
congratulations
Congrats.
again
Yeah.
on hitting
Fucking big
affiliate. That's
congrats,
fucking
dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
Bad assery that you're doing over there. You're just killing it. So
Right? You're having a
love
great
it.
time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
love it.
Um,
Yes, thank you for the rating.
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, so Seiko got into something and he was throwing up all morning. So my brother was like, "Yeah, I can't make it." And I was like, "Damn, what the
be like,
shit am I
you
doing here?"
motherfucker, you stuck me with
Yeah,
mom
I
and
was like,
dad at
"You
6 o'clock in
fucker."
the morning.
Right?
Yeah.
Unfair.
Yeah.
But the auction was like, so I'm from like a metropolitan area, and so the auctions that we go to are all in like fucking warehouses and shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The auctions in a place like Farmville, are like literally on farms, which I was not
Well, I mean,
expecting.
I would
Should
hope
have
so with
been,
it. Yeah.
but was not. So that was also really like uneven terrain. Um, so that was like not great to be walking
Yeah.
around for like, several hours at a time. We
Right.
didn't we didn't end up getting anything. My dad was there looking at an international scout because he had one back in the 80s and he was like, it was so cool and I want to be cool again.
Mm,
Um, and it ended up going for way too much money. So, but it was still really
yeah.
fun. We had a great time and then we stopped and saw my aunts on the way back and hung out with them.
Nice.
And so then I didn't get home till like late. We were on the road at like 7, I guess it was at night. So by the time I got home, I was like, fuck the world. I'm going to bed.
I don't blame
So,
you.
yeah.
Was that the night when you messaged me the next day and was like, I wanted to shut my foot off last night, but because of it,
Yes.
your site just shifted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have no concept of days anymore. Like,
Fair. Fair.
I just kind of go, oh, I should probably show up to work today. So, uh,
I mean, maybe. If you want to keep your job. If you don't, then yeah, don't show up to work. That's fine. Mhm. Depends.
I'm just excited I get the week off next week. I like that's what's getting me through the next 2 days. Otherwise, I would probably not show up because
Feel ya.
like and you know,
I feel ya.
like I'm glad I get a little bit of a recharge. Uh
Yeah. Much needed.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, otherwise, for me, I don't think anything super exciting happened this week. Playing more
Oh,
of the super secret craft stuff.
yeah. You've been streaming a fair bit, which is nice.
Yeah, just the I think twice. I've streamed the twice on my channel, which has been fun. I got my first follow for somebody that I don't know, which was super exciting last
Yeah.
night. Um,
That is exciting.
I was like, people like me, they really like me. Um, I don't know why, but they do, and I'll take it. I'll accept the
Yeah,
love.
absolutely.
Uh, yeah, Borderlands 3 was a shit ton of fun with Ben,
Mhm.
Dave, Zach, and I. I think they have all played it before. I have not, but regardless, it was still a really super fun time.
Yeah.
Um, Ben is going to be an amazing friend and sending me a new graphics card for my computer. Well, not new, like new to me.
Right.
That I'll pay him for, what he is letting me pay him later for it, so that I can
Nice.
hopefully stream Borderlands. Because when I first tried to stream Borderlands, my computer went, "You're funny."
Joke's on you. Yeah.
Like, that's great, but it's not going to work for it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, eventually I'll start being able to stream that as well. What else did I do this week?
Oh,
I don't know
what did you
either.
do?
I mean,
Can you believe
eat,
we're
sleep,
already
wake
like
up,
almost
poop.
through
Like,
September,
God, I
right?
can't. I can't. Like, time
Insane.
goes by way too quickly.
Agreed.
Um, all the time,
Mhm.
all the time. Oh, I
Yep.
decorated for Halloween a little bit. Can't really
Yes,
see
that's
much.
right.
I have a sign with a skeleton that says "Hey boo," and a sign that
Mhm.
says "Some days I'm extra witchy," which might
Which
have
is
to stay up
appropriate.
year round. I'm not even lying.
Yeah.
That one might stay up a year
My
round.
Hocus Pocus sign,
Yeah,
which you can kind of see back there, stays up year
yeah,
round.
yeah. I mean, some of that stuff you just have to keep up.
Yeah,
Halloween is like one of my favorite holidays
same.
Get
All
ready for it.
things fall and Halloween, like, you can't see it because it's all the way over there, but I have another bookcase on this side of the room, and I have, like, an entire shelf that's just, like, different skulls and pumpkins and shit, and that's there year
Nice.
round. Mhm.
Oh, hey, we got a
And
new
on this
follow
one,
too.
it's
E20
oh,
thoughts.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm not
6
seeing
minutes
them for
ago.
some reason.
I didn't see it either. I had to click on their name.
That's so
Thank you,
weird.
thank you. I don't know why that's in pop up, but I'm promise I'm not
Yeah.
ignoring you on purpose. Today
No.
anyway.
Next week, maybe,
Maybe. I mean,
maybe.
depends on my mood. No, like it's all good.
I
Um,
appreciate the follow, though, that's awesome, thank
yes.
you.
Thank you. So can I get into the funny thing that made me smile?
Yes, please do.
So I saw this today on Facebook while I was at work, and I needed the smile today, right? So
Right?
I was reading through them, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I gotta share it on. But it is um the most ridiculous vet visit stories from people
Okay.
about with their animals. So
I'm sure there's some good ones.
oh, they're so funny.
Yeah.
Dog has had a raspy cough. The vet went right over him, X-ray blood tests, and said it was all a big mystery. Out of the blue, the vet asked me to cough. I coughed. Then the dog coughed. I coughed. Dog coughed again. Turned out the whole family had a cold, and the dog was just trying to fit in.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right? I'm like,
That's adorable.
oh. Uh,
I love that.
my dog was extremely lethargic after we came back from a vacation in the mountains. Would not really eat or drink for days. Took her to the vet. They did all of the tests, and all I was told was that she was just temporarily depressed because our vacation was over. And then the top comment in this one is, my cat did this. Had all
Mhm.
manner of blood tests done, exams. The vet asked if anything had recently changed. I told him that my boyfriend of 4 years had left me. The fucking cat was depressed because I was dumped. But at that point, like, solidarity, sister. I
Right?
mean, at least the cat had your
Yeah,
back. You're
absolutely.
sad, I'm sad too, fam.
Yeah.
Um, this one
Unexpected
is,
for a cat, but
yeah,
I
right?
appreciate it.
I just love the dog getting depressed because vacation was over. Like, uh, this one was a guy I know had his first ever cat and was convinced that she had a lung infection because of the raspy noise she was constantly making. He rushes her to the vet, X-ray scans, and then as they're discussing exploratory surgery, the noise starts. The vet says she's purring. That one made me go, bruh,
Bruh,
like,
right?
bruh, real for real. I paid like $1,200 for various tests for my late bulldog's hearing because we were convinced she had gone deaf. She could hear just fine. She just didn't give a damn about what we had to say. We rushed our dog to the emergency 24-hour vet after a day at the beach because she was acting skittish about her tail. Was it broken? One 2 a.m. x-ray later, and the vet says she had happy tail syndrome, meaning she wagged her tail so hard. Uh, Accidentally clicked out. Hold on.
No, not a
Yeah, she
cliffhanger.
wagged her tail so hard on the beach day that it was sore,
Oh,
which is so sweet.
that's so cute.
Uh, my aunt's dog stopped moving and was screeching when we tried to pick him up. We brought him to the vet. The vet couldn't find anything wrong. Gave him a mild sedative. High as hell, he fell off the back seat in the car, let out a minute-long fart, was magically healed. $400 for a little poop. This one, it has a picture of a guy with a German Shepherd. One of us just spent $600 to find out the other one has gas. Wonder who is who.
Can you
Uh,
imagine? Oh my god,
this one's a
I'd
picture of
be
like
so
a
mad.
French bulldog. So started limping very badly on a walk and lying on his side and not moving. I left it with my husband, and our other dog ran 2 kilometers, 1.86 miles, home to get the car to take him to an emergency vet. Totally fine when we arrived. Dramatic response
Mhm.
to a small ant bite on his foot. Heaven
Been
forbid,
there, right?
right? Uh, when I first brought my cat home, he would call loudly when he was using the litter box. I thought maybe he has like a bladder infection. Diagnosis: he is a young male, and some of them really like to announce to the world when they have to pee. Once had an emergency call vet come out to find out that my horse had decided to be afraid of the ground.
Fun get there.
Right?
How does that become a fear?
Right? Like he just woke up one day and went,
Huh, right? Like, I
"What
don't
is this
understand.
thing that my feet are on? My boots are on."
Yeah.
I took my dog to the vet repeatedly because he kept limping on
Oh,
three
no.
paws. Vet couldn't find anything wrong with him. Turned out he realized he got a lot of attention when he was limping. Ridiculous. I tried to teach this dog to give his paw for weeks and got nothing. But it learned that it gets more attention for limping. Came home from a week-long work trip,
Reasonable.
right? Week-long work trip. My partner stayed with her the whole time. I came home and she ignored me, which is unlike her. Oh yeah, she is a cuddly cat. I'm like, I don't know what kind of animal he's talking about.
Yeah.
Um, she's a cuddly cat. Then she peed outside of her box, which is even more unlike her. $500 later, found out from the vet that she was mad at me for leaving. Last year, I paid $400 to be told my cat didn't like the taste of a bug.
Okay.
$200 to
Man,
discover that my cat's limp was, in fact, fake and only done for attention. Paid
man, pets are
$180 once.
expensive.
Oh, yeah, and for, like,
Dumb shit.
not, like
Gas and faking
yeah,
limp
like,
and mad at you because you went on vacation.
oh, yeah, like, they're assholes, right? Like,
Yeah.
uh, paid $180 once to be told my dog was holding in a fart, and that was the last one. But yeah, so some of those were really just freaking funny that made
Yeah.
me laugh. Um,
Absolutely.
I have a friend who could tell some stories about his husky that I call the toothbrush assassin. It's only his toothbrush, not his SO's, and only until he can gnaw the bristles off. But apparently, spiny poops are slightly uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
That's
How?
like what I was saying about Remy eating the. He loves the
The peanut butter
plastic peanut
container?
butter containers, and but he'll like chew plastic off. And I always look at him and go, "You're
Yeah.
gonna hate yourself later for that."
But I guess
Uh,
not. I guess he's like, meh, it'll be fine.
right. Okay, this is
We'll
real
get over it.
fast. See what I found out, and then I promise I'll leave this page.
Okay.
But it's man shares hilarious story of how he mistook his dentist for his dog and responded in a baby voice. Um, so it's a today I fucked up Reddit post. Today I fucked up by forgetting I was talking to a human. I'm usually at home alone with our pets. Technically, this happened yesterday, but I was still too traumatized to write about it then. I've been off of work for a few weeks, and since the kids and my wife are out all day, I'm home alone with our pets. Uh, to stave off boredom, I've taken to teaching the spaniel new tricks. He's actually pretty cool. Taught him high fives, figure eight, and best of all, how to nod and
Oh,
shake his head. Naturally, I use
cute.
this to mildly gaslight my children into believing he was actually answering my questions. Barney, do you think E and A should go brush their teeth? And then he starts enthusiastically nodding his furry little head up and down like one of those
Oh my
bobblehead car
God.
toys being driven over a dirt track. As much as I did enjoy their uncharacteristic obedience when the dog was my parenting wingman, eventually the guilt got the better of me and I confessed that he hadn't actually learned English whilst they were at school. Disappointment ensued. Um,
Man, I would have kept that. I wouldn't have told them shit. Are you
100%.
kidding me?
I would have held on
Parents
to
need
that shit
anything they
till
can
the end of
get.
time. Absolutely.
Especially because he wasn't, like, doing anything that, like, negatively harms them, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's
he
oh
wasn't
yeah,
getting the
you could
dog to make them participate in, like,
right,
I don't
yeah,
know,
brushing your teeth,
jumping off
going
of
to
the
bed on
roof or
time,
some
cleaning up your
shit.
toy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like 100%.
No guilt here for
And then it
that.
says
You're fine.
nothing, and I mean nothing could shift this. Anyway, yesterday I was at the dentist because I unfortunately had sustained the most middle class of injuries and had gotten a pumpkin seed from my artisanal multi-seeded sourdough loaf lodged between my teeth. Nothing, and I mean nothing could shift it. So off to the dentist I went. My wife suggested this was essential, lest I get punched by a stranger for making rude faces, constantly jamming my tongue to the side of my cheek in my vain attempts to dislodge the seed that had
Yeah.
seemingly been gorilla glued between my molars. The receptionist said that they would schedule a longer appointment so they could remove the seed and then carry out my routine checkup afterwards. What a dick thing for them to do. Just take the seed
Right?
away. I don't need you to check my teeth. I don't know. I don't like dentist guys.
Yeah.
Clearly I'm missing a tooth for a reason. Well, many, but anyway, it actually
It's
took quite a
expensive,
bit of
man.
right. And it's painful. It took quite a bit of wrangling for the dentist himself to dislodge it, but after a few minutes of rooting around in my mouth, I heard "gotcha!" And he triumphantly held tweezers with the offending seed up to my eyeline. He clearly was waiting for me to say thanks, or maybe, wow, that feels better, something like that. Instead, forgetting I was not, in fact, training my dog, I said, "Good boy," in the most overly enthusiastic talking to an animal or small child sing-songy voice. Unfortunately, in the half a second it took for me to realize what I had done and why it was looking at me so strangely, the nurse had shoved a suction device in my mouth, leaving me unable to explain my sudden change in tone from addressing a respectful medical professional to praising a toddler that had managed to make
Right.
it to the potty before he shit his pants. So I lay in my own thoughts, the awkwardness of the moment swirling around my brain, punctuated only by the usual dentist to nurse coded description of all of my teeth, Rook to Bishop 4, F1 showing on BBC 2, all of that sort of stuff. I lay considering if I should try to explain it or if I should just do what any normal person would do and cut my losses, move to a different dental practice, and press the memory until 3 years later at 4:30 a.m., where it suddenly becomes all I can think about. It was torture. When they finally removed all of the stuff from my mouth, the tension of not being able to explain it began too much for me. So before I had even been told to rinse, I suddenly blurted out, "Sorry, I forgot you're not a spaniel." Now, keep in mind, this was a good 6 or 7 minutes after the good boy comment. It wasn't an
Right.
immediate explanation to my previous awkwardness. Instead, it was an entirely separate, brand new, ridiculous comment coming from my idiotic mouth. Both he and the nurse just looked at me as I pathetically shoved the cup of mouthwash in my mouth before any of their crap could leave it.
Oh my god.
They busied themselves with tidying up whilst I tried to slink out of the room unnoticed. He saw me and I said, I hope the rest of your sick leave is very restorative," which sounds like a nice, innocuous comment until you consider the fact that I had already told him I was off of work due to my due to my mental health not being so great. Suddenly, his nice comment turns more into a, "I hope you get the psychiatric help you clearly need, you wacko." Obviously, the whole walk home, I was kicking myself for being so bloody awkward twice. To really add icing
Right?
to the shit show cake, later that evening, I was telling my wife about it, and she was joking that treating your dentist like a dog could be a new fetish for some people.
Oh my god.
And walks our 5-year-old, who seems to be a magnet for inappropriate talk and who loves language, asks, "What's a fetish?" We both froze, and my
Oh
wife said,
no.
"Shouldn't you be in bed?" Yes, she should have. And then carried her upstairs. Thankfully she hasn't asked any more questions. So hopefully she's forgotten either that or she's asked her teacher and the social services visit is imminent. Oh my god. But it is all just another day in the life of my ridiculously awkward social ineptitude, unfortunately. I think I'll be switching to a Play-Doh white bread with no seeds for the foreseeable future. Too long didn't read.
That's too
Forgot the
funny.
dentist wasn't a dog. Called him a good boy. Explanation made it worse. Shouldn't talk to humans. Oh my god, that was
That was a
longer than I
journey for
it
sure.
was. It was way longer than I initially thought it was gonna be. I apologize for that, but once I got into it, I couldn't stop.
Right?
Um, yes, let's not praise things like that, David. Um, Jesus,
That's
that
funny though.
fucking I just
Yeah, that's amazing.
whew,
Again, a great journey.
and that was so much, but that was amazing at the same
Yeah.
time. Um, I hate the dentist. So if I had a dentist that I can look
Yeah.
at and go, "Good boy,
Good boy. Maybe that'll make it better. You should
he's a
try it.
good boy,"
Next time you have to go.
right?
Right?
100%.
Absolutely.
Um,
All right. Are we
anyway,
ready to
now
get into
we'll
some
switch from funnies into
potentially infuriating?
yeah. Okay, this
Although,
one what?
I was like, are any of mine really infuriating? And I don't know. Find out together. How about that?
Right. I'm here for it. My
Yeah.
first one. This one actually is short. I hate how those articles like break it up in such a
Like,
funny way with the ads that like, yeah,
mm-hmm.
I oh, this isn't bad.
Extreme
And then it
short.
was like 17 paragraphs later.
Right?
Anyway.
Absolutely. They always do that.
Uh, so the first one here is am I the asshole for yelling at my wife for drinking? I, 28 male, am a
Okay.
recovering alcoholic. My father was an alcoholic. When my child and I when I was a child, I guess I caught it from him. That's not what I
That's
meant.
not how that
What I
works. But, well, there is
Eh,
some
to an extent, that's
psychological
not how that
stuff
works.
that
Right.
says that it can be hereditary because it's predicated on like addictive personalities and all that. Anyway, carry on.
It's just opened up a can of worms for me personally, but that's okay. I've
Sure.
been sober for about a year now, and I attend this recovery group once a week that is held by the Mormon Church. Can of worms. Anyway,
Mhm.
I've been gaining an interest in their beliefs and have been considering conversion, but that's another conversation.
Mhm.
My wife, 26 female, went out with her friends this weekend, and I found out from her friend's Instagram post that she had been drinking. She held a glass of wine in the photo, but she didn't appear drunk when she got home. I saw the post today, and I'm going to be honest, I freaked out. She has been so helpful and supportive during my recovery, and I can't believe she would do this to me. Cute. I confronted her as soon as I saw it. She told me that because she wasn't drinking around me, it wasn't an issue. I told her that when we got married, we promised to support each other through everything, and this wasn't being supportive and a direct violation of our vows.
Whoa. Uh, there are so many
That
things I want to say that I'm not going
yeah,
to. Okay,
there's
carry on.
just a couple more sentences. She told me to get over myself, go sis, and I lost
Yeah.
it and told her that she was a bad wife. Fuck you.
From
And
0 to
that she
60.
right, and that she
Okay.
wasn't committed to us in our relationship. We've been together for 4 years and married for 1. I told her that if she was pregnant, I wouldn't eat all of the food she couldn't eat to be supportive, and she told me that she wouldn't expect that from me, so I can't expect her to be sober and that I was being an asshole because you are.
Mhm.
Um, after
'Cause
that, I
yeah.
just left and contacted the group leader for my recovery group, and he let me chill at his house while I cooled down. Am I the asshole? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you're the
Big
asshole.
time.
But
Super big.
God.
You can drive a truck through that asshole. That's how big of an asshole you are. Dear God, first of all, the whole analogy of like, well, I wouldn't eat food that you're not allowed to eat when you're pregnant. Bitch, she already doesn't drink in front of you. She's already supporting you. If you go out and eat fucking raw oysters, which I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to eat when pregnant, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're not
Yeah,
allowed to
you're
eat
not
while
supposed to have
pregnant.
any raw food. Yeah,
Then,
raw,
like, that's fine. You did that on your own. Like,
right.
yeah, maybe she'll find out. Like, it'll be like, oh man,
Well, and
why did you
it's
do
so
that? But it's not
it's
the same. Like, it's nowhere near the fucking same, dude.
right. And it's a glass of wine in a picture.
Right.
It
You have
doesn't
no
mean
idea
she
how
got
much she
drunk.
drank.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like it
Ridiculous.
coming from somebody like I recently like did get sober. I was sober for over 6 months just to prove to myself that like I didn't need alcohol every day because it became just part of my like daily wind down routine. And I
Hmm.
knew that that could get dangerous. So I was like, I'm gonna cut that off, recenter myself, and whatnot.
Yeah.
But never did I ever say like, "Hey, nobody could drink around me." Because that to me, and this is my 100% my personal beliefs for me and my drinking
Hmm.
mentality. So
Absolutely.
don't, this doesn't apply to anyone else. But for me, it's like if I can't handle people drinking around me, then that's even that shows that I'm, or if I'm forcing people to not drink when they're around me, I'm not as strong as I need to be to prove it to myself, if that makes any sense.
Mm. Right.
But that's just me personally, you know.
Right.
But yeah, and then to say that she's not being supportive and it was a violation of their vows, get over yourself.
Right? I don't
Like,
remember. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't at this person's wedding, but I really doubt that in the wedding she was like, "I promise that once you get sober, I will never drink at all ever until the end of time." Like that's not how that
right.
went. That would if she had said that in their
Yeah.
vows, then yeah, like that would be a
Right.
violation
Yeah.
of their vows
If
for
it had
sure. But
was an issue ahead of time, yeah.
yeah, promising to support them does not mean that you promise to then like never like uh, support them in this very unique and absurd way. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because
Right.
support comes in many forms. You may not like that
Right.
support, but like you didn't promise on the where, the why, and the how. You just promised on the thing,
Right.
on the what, so to speak. That's ridiculous. I
So it's
cannot. I hope everyone flamed him in the comments, honestly.
oh yeah. Uh and they're shitting on the Mormon church. Which so for those of you that don't know, I was one point in my life baptized Mormon. I was an adult when I made that decision. Basically the next week, the conversation I had with the bishop, he said some things and I went, I'm gonna walk out the door because I
Yeah.
didn't agree with what the bishop had said. And then to find out that the bishop had actually gone to school with my mom and it yeah, was a whole thing. But there are aspects of the Mormon church that I do believe in.
Hmm.
And that helped me through a lot of rough times in my life and like the Book of Mormon or whatnot. One of the
Right.
comments is she's allowed to drink when she's not with you. I'm pretty sure she'll have a massive boozy party on the day she finally divorces his unappreciative, abusive ass. For real, he seems controlling now? Question mark, question mark. Mormonism has entered the chat. Um,
Yeah.
and it so in my experience with the Mormon church, especially as an adult, conversion, like it can get almost very textbook like abuse, like in the sense that they tell you what you want to hear and they make you feel like it's the best decision ever when it's not necessarily the best decision for you personally. Um,
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where like him putting that information in there gave us a little bit of info because like
right.
depending on which sect of the Mormon church you're talking about because there are different versions, they can be incredibly restrictive. Like I knew several Mormons growing up who didn't drink caffeine, like no coffee, no soda, none of that.
Oh
So
yeah.
like those kinds of things can influence why he's feeling this way about like the total like absolute no on the alcohol stuff. Like
Right.
maybe he's falling into that because those beliefs are resonating with what he needs right now through his recovery. But that doesn't mean that his wife is now also needing to be Mormon and also needing to follow by these rules. You're
Right.
fine to believe whatever faith, whatever creed you do, that does not mean that you have any say of what anyone else believes. And that
Right.
does not mean that you have any control of what anyone else does in their life, regardless
Right.
of like whether or not this woman said she was going to support you. You don't have any control to make her or not make her participate in anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? To be like, you can't go out and drink because it harms my recovery. It's like, well, then which everyone is at different stages of that. I know a ton of people who are sober, and they all vary as to whether or not they can or cannot have alcohol in their own like physical home if they live with someone who still drinks, whether or not people can drink around them. One of my best friends is sober, and we go out to dinner whenever we're both in the same city, and I'll often get like an alcoholic drink, and it does not bother her
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And if it did, I mean, she would tell me and we'd have that conversation. But again, we'd
Right.
have that conversation. She would be like, "Hey,
Right.
D, by the way, like, I don't really like that, not because, I don't want you to have fun, but just because it makes me feel like I'm missing out. And that was the reason
Yeah.
why I was drinking in the first place." At which
Right.
point, me being where I'm at, I'd be like, "Yeah, totally. I get it. I
Yeah.
don't need to
Like,
do that." But we also don't live together. So there's not that added expectation of like, you know what I mean? Like, I see her one night every 3 months. But I
right.
cannot drink one night every 3 months. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
I have time to do it elsewhere. It'd be different if we were in a relationship because that'd be a different conversation if they were asking me to never drink.
Right.
That's totally different.
Right. So I think this one comment it sums up a lot of things really well. And it says, I'm wondering how much of this response is the Mormon influence specifically. The main issue I take with AA is the fact that it rarely is a secular experience, often
Right.
dominated or run by some sect of Christianity, bringing the religious component into the recovery process, which can be very useful for some. But while you
Not for all.
turn your love and dependency or worship from a drink to a higher power, sounds really nice on paper, it still carries the weight of the lack of willpower and of being controlled by something more powerful than you, i.e., alcoholism versus
Right.
higher power, God, whatever. Um, the unnameable drive to consume yourself with something else. And that's still unhealthy. Religious recovery groups have a tendency to foster a community that eats itself into remission because it doesn't focus on the problems at hand. It tries to paper over them with spiritual sweet talk and platitudes.
Mhm.
Um, and then it says, edit, I will admit there is a heavy bias here. If it worked for you, great. I'm all the happier and proud of you. It has done irreparable damage to people that I love, and sadly, these things coexist.
Mhm.
And I think that hits a lot of nails on the head for me
Yeah.
personally too, where like, yeah, for some people that's what they need and that is what works. Um, this one says, and you end up with people treating very effective treatment methods, example, medications that keep you from being able to drink without getting sick, that will help
Mhm.
break both the physical and psychological habit of drinking as the easy way, like your sobriety is unearned. It's such a weird puritanical approach,
Right.
which is very true too. Yeah, some people go, well,
Yeah.
oh, you had to take meds. Like, I mean, this is by no means a bragging thing whatsoever because I don't know that I would do it this way again. Like, I quit cold turkey.
Mhm.
But that's what I needed to do for me, and I think everybody is so different.
Yeah. It's the
Um,
same thing with smoking. Like when my dad
oh yeah,
quit smoking, 20 some years ago, he had made a pact with his best friend and a guy who I refer to as my uncle. They had all decided they were going to quit smoking, and he just went cold turkey. Next day, nothing, nada. And my dad was able to stick to it and has stuck to it for like years and years and years. That same uncle who made that pact with him was back on it in like a couple of days. He
yeah,
also had to try like the Nicorette route and all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, he was unable to get off of nicotine at all. Like it was just something
yeah.
that he needed,
Well,
and that is what it is. That's a personal choice. I don't really give a shit. But it just goes to show you that some people cannot separate themselves from any item, whether it's alcohol or cigarettes or drugs or online shopping. Like some people cannot just stop. They have
Right.
to either be weaned off or use medication or you name it. Sometimes people need help, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, to go back to this post, what is wrong with it is telling somebody else that their support is somehow wrong and that they aren't able to live a life outside of, the support they get at home.
Right. Right. And this is interesting. Somebody said the program that my brother was on held a 60% success rate or so because it incentivized those there to get medical help as well. B, like, included both group and individual therapy sessions with like
Super
licensed
important.
therapists,
Yep.
was not affiliated with any church group. And then it says he is still in contact with several of the people he met there, including the therapist years later. Wish more were like that one. And then somebody goes, which group is this? Asking for a
Yeah.
friend, of course. And I've heard of this group. This is one that was recommended for me too, but it says not sure if they're referring to a different group, but Smart Recovery is a scientific based recovery group that is free. It helped me way more than AA ever did. So, and I will tell you, like, looking into it,
Mhm.
Smart Recovery did, because it's based more on the cognitive behavioral health therapy, um, to help you identify your triggers and rewire your brain and work in the coping
Yeah.
skills that you don't find typically in AA meetings.
No.
And so if anybody here does need help or is looking for that uh assistance or camaraderie, or even if it's just you want to go hear people tell their stories and how they're getting help, Smart Recovery is definitely
Yeah.
one I would
Absolutely.
recommend personally. And not that AA, like, not to shit on AA, but I think AA is so,
It's not for everybody.
well, it's not for everybody. And I think their practices are so old and they haven't
They haven't grown with the
adapted
times.
to the current
Yeah.
needs. Sorry, my dog's moving his shit. My grandma's
I
just got
know.
home from school. Um,
He just wants
but
to say hi.
right, yeah, yeah, or bite her face off. One of the two. It's hard to tell. But yeah, so I think like it was a good cup. Like, there is a lot of good thing there. Lots of ex
Yeah.
Mormons or ex LDS. Uh,
Interesting.
somebody, I'm trying to find the comment because somebody just replied, "Ha ha ha! This is gold." I'm trying to see what they were saying that to. But yeah, a lot of it is saying like AA, uses religion and not like, and they don't necessarily promote actually getting help from a therapist, which a lot of
Right.
people need that help because you become addicted
Yeah.
because it's a coping mechanism for traumas that you experience that you may not even realize led you to drink.
Well, and it's also like, again, AA is great and it works for a lot of people. But part of the
Yeah,
AA process, from my understanding of it, knowing people who've gone through the program, is you have to tell your story. And what effectively that is trauma dumping. Some people
right.
are not going to be okay with that, and that's going to drive them to never come back because they can't handle hearing other people's stories.
Yeah,
Um, and other times, like, well, and I should say, regardless of that, there's usually no therapeutic response to that. Like when someone is telling you all that trauma, they're just like, "Oh man, yeah, I hear you. We've all been
right,
there, right? Who hasn't,
right,
shit in a Cracker Barrel in the middle of the dining room?" Like that kind of stuff. It's like you probably need to talk about some of this with an actual therapist. And if you're not doing that in addition to going to AA, then you're not resolving whatever it was that caused that incident to happen.
right,
Um, so again, it's great and it has helped a lot of people. And again, for some people, that's all that they needed. But it's not for
right,
everyone. And if it
right,
doesn't work for you, there's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong about that.
right.
It just simply is that that's not the style of assistance that you needed.
Right. And don't give up on it. Like, I mean, try it out. If it doesn't work for you, try something else. Like, it's
Yeah.
about like if you're committed to finding help and getting better, And I'm a big believer in you have to want to get better or want to get help for yourself. Like you can't
Mhm.
take care of other people. You can't be a better person for other people if you're not doing it for yourself first. Um, but yeah, if something doesn't work, try something else. Like you'll
Right.
eventually there's so many different methods out there for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like my ex-boyfriend that ended up actually drinking himself to death.
Mhm.
Um, he had gone to treatment 4 times.
Yeah.
AA was a big part of it. Um, NA for him because he ended up using pills for a while, and the NA the first time he went through that worked. He didn't abuse like opiates or anything after that, but he constantly went back to drinking.
Yeah.
And like for by the time I knew him in high school, we didn't date back then. I knew him as an adult, and he was 36 when he died, so he is now the same age as I am, but this was 2 years
Mhm.
ago, 2.5. Um, but yeah, like the programs he went to just taught the same things, and it didn't teach him anything. It didn't make anything
Yeah.
better. Um, and that's
Right.
I think what the biggest issue was. So sorry, that
Yeah.
got really super fucking deep. I didn't mean for
That's
that
okay.
much to happen, but it's a good
Yeah.
conversation to have sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
And if you guys ever, any of our viewers who are going through any of that, ever need to talk, we have a Discord. You can reach out to
yeah,
us there, and we're happy to
absolutely.
support you in any way we can.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Even if it's just help, like
like
I'm
someone to hang
always
out
more
with
than
in
willing to help
general
you.
chat.
Well,
Yeah.
that or help you find resources near you if you need a face-to-face thing. Like the camaraderie that I got from people that I knew back in high school and even before. I mean, like he's my brother from another mother, right? Like, and he wrote a book of poems that I have, and he brought it down to the hospital when my grandpa was getting chemo one day and signed his book to me, and it says my oldest friend.
Oh,
Um, and but yeah, like he had gotten sober, and like when he found out that I was going to get sober, he messaged me right away, and I had him, and then a guy that like I knew back in school, like we're Facebook friends because we have so many people in common, whatever kind of a thing. But he too was like one of those people that's like, hey, message me
yeah.
anytime. And any post that I made about being sober, or, like working hard at it, or whatever, they were both like, hey, we're proud of you. And like that stuff
Yeah.
meant more to me because they are people that knew me then,
Yeah.
um, or knew me for however it worked.
Right.
But it, that meant more and did more for me than like going to a room of random people and trying to tell my story because that whenever I do that, like I get the oh
Right.
kind of response because your girl's been through some shit, like and like everybody does. Everybody has
Yeah.
their own
Yeah.
shit that they've been through, right? So,
Right.
uh, but yeah, please, if anybody out there needs to talk, needs to vent, even if you don't need us to do anything, but like listen to you vent for a day. Like we're
Mhm.
here for it.
Absolutely.
You're not alone is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And you're not a shit person, even when you
No.
feel like you are.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying that to myself even more than everybody else sometimes, you know. But yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
Ready for the next one? Okay.
Yes.
Am I the asshole for giving my friend a necklace that my husband gave me and refusing to give it back? So it's a very long title, but a
Yeah.
much shorter post. Um, all right. My friend didn't have a necklace to go with her dress, so I offered her one of mine. I should say that this poster just jumps right into it. No age, none of that. So we don't have much to go off in terms of like their demographics. So I offered one of mine. She kept telling me how much she loved the necklace. So I told her she could keep it as I never wear it anyway. I gave her the necklace 4 months ago, and she recently wore it to another party. And my sister-in-law mentioned how I had a necklace that looked exactly like that. My friend told her that I had given it to her, and my sister-in-law made a comment about that, how that was nice of me. I thought that was the
Yes.
end of it, but she told all of my in-laws and my husband. Now my husband is demanding I get the necklace back, and everybody is angry at me, and I don't understand what the big deal is. I've told him I can't ask for the necklace back since my friend clearly loves it so much, but he said I have a week to get it back or he would get it back himself and that he would think twice before giving me anything from now on. Am I the asshole?
So I heard this one in one of the narrations I listened to today.
Yeah.
Um, she's not the asshole whatsoever. She flat out told him, "No, you don't get to give." Or no, sorry, that was a different article. Go away, leave the cat alone. Heaven forbid Clara come down to my desk and try to fuck me. Um,
Right. Um,
so now I'm trying to separate the two because I totally that reminded me of the more recent one I had heard. But yeah, like she gave it away like it wasn't something she wore often enough. Her friend clearly
mhm.
loved the necklace and she was doing something really nice for them.
Yeah.
Um, and there's no see, and the hardest part is like they don't indicate why the sister-in-law was so upset
Well, so I
that
will say the OP did offer some comments because someone in the
okay,
comments
good.
said, one, is it expensive? To which OP says, I honestly have no idea the cost of it.
Okay.
Two, was it for a special occasion? The answer is no. He randomly gives me jewelry a lot. I wouldn't have given it to her if he gave it to me for a special occasion. Three, is it something you wanted or is it your style? To which the answer is it's beautiful, but he buys me a lot of jewelry and I don't wear jewelry often, which is why I never wore the item in question. And four, is it a family heirloom? And the answer to that is no. So it's not a family heirloom. It wasn't an
Yeah.
anniversary gift. She doesn't know how much it cost.
Right.
The husband evidently is buying a ton of jewelry for her, and this was just um, one of the things that was bought, and also not worn because she doesn't wear jewelry.
Right. Yeah. It because that was like the one thing that would, potentially make them the asshole on
Right.
that. Would
Yeah.
be
If
if
it was
it
a
was a
family
family
heirloom,
heirloom
100%
or
the
it meant
asshole.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or something sentimental, even like,
Yeah.
OP's mom gave it to her because it meant something to OP's mom or OP's mother's mom, whatever.
Right.
Ah, but yeah, there's no reason for the sister-in-law to be that upset over it that I could tell anyway.
No.
Um,
I mean, a lot of people are in here being like, "You're the asshole. It was a gift from your husband. He obviously gave it to you to show you he cares, and giving it away shows how much you don't." Or saying that, like, you can say that a gift is no strings attached, and once it's given, they can do whatever they want with it, but the rules are different from jewelry from a significant other.
mhm.
And I feel like there's a couple of things here. One, I don't know if I would agree with that completely, just because there are some items, regardless of whether or not it's jewelry or what, that if my like significant other, not that I have one right now, but if I had one, they gave me, I'd be like, this is great and all, but like, it's not my style. It's not what, it's something I'm going to get use out of. Like, I'd love to give it to someone who could, you know, use it and
Right,
enjoy it. You know what I
right,
mean? Pass your kindness along to somebody else. I think that's fine. I don't think that just because it's your significant other, it has to therefore be important. Why does it being someone who's important in your life make any difference if the gift is still not something usable in your life? I think we
right.
place too much significance on that sometimes. And I'll be the first one to say I'm like a little bit of a hoarder. I keep so much shit from so many people
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, well, it was nice of them to think. I actually thought of this the other day because I found it. I still have this like bracelet and this hairpin that someone gave me in eighth grade as part of an apology for bullying me. And I'm like, I don't know what to
Wow,
do with it because it was a gift that was given to me. I've never worn any of these items. I've just kept them and I put them away and then I find them like once every 6 years and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that. So, like,
wow.
I'm the first person to admit that I'm really not great at, like, doing this. If someone gives me something,
Right,
I keep it. You know what I mean? But I also think that that's just because of who I am as a person. If I ever had, like, a niece or something or a well, yeah, even if I had a nephew and they saw it and was like, "Oh my god, that's really pretty, I want it." I'd be like, "Fucking take it, bro. I don't give a shit."
right. Yeah, like
Like, do
if
you know what
it's
I
gonna
mean?
bring you joy and it's not something
Right.
that I wear. Like if it's one of the necklaces or a bracelet or whatever that I wear daily, no, you
Right.
can't have it. But if I
Yeah,
ever do decide to get rid of it, you'll be the first one that I offer to give it to you, kind of a thing is where
exactly.
I'm at with it. But um yeah, there's just no need to be that upset
No.
and butthurt because a
Right.
necklace that never belonged
And
to
again,
you got
well,
given to a friend. Like,
again, it's not even a necklace that has any significance. It wasn't for, a major life event
right.
such
I mean, but
as,
clearly the
wedding,
sister-in-law had
anniversary.
feelings about it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I guess first of all, why does a sister-in-law know every piece of jewelry that's ever been given to her? That just seems weird. Like you shouldn't have that much knowledge of what your brother's
Unless
giving to
she like
me.
has like an idyllic memory where she sees something and remembers it
Possibly.
easily. You know what I mean? Like it.
Right.
But I
But if the
remember thinking
sister
about that too when I heard the
yeah, if
story
OP
the
never
other day.
really wears it because it's not something that like it's not
Yeah,
a piece she
and they don't
enjoys,
wear a lot of jewelry.
yeah, then how does a sister recognize it enough to be like, "Oh, that's
Right.
exactly like the one that he gave you." You know what I
Right.
mean? Like and for the husband to be like, "Either you have 1 week to get it back or I'm getting it back myself." Also, why is the husband gonna go out and be an asshole? Like, I get it. You're upset that she gave away something that you gave to her. You have every right to be upset
I
about
don't
that,
even think that that's
100%.
I
But
think
why are
the
you gonna go
husband's more
after the
upset because
friend?
of the yeah, I think the husband is upset because the sister is
Is
upset about
upset.
it. I
Maybe.
don't
But
think he
my thing is, why is he gonna make
sister.
that super uncomfy for the friend? Like, if she's not gonna get it back, then you going there and being like, I mean, you're gonna have to shit talk your wife to get it back. Why is that a better response? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That seems weird to me.
absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. So, and like, and I feel like there is information missing from that story. I mean, there's got to
Yeah.
be another piece to that puzzle.
Yeah, and I mean, OP has commented a bit, but there's not a ton of comments. I'm looking through it now for OP to
Yeah,
give us any additional context other than it's not a family heirloom. She doesn't know how much it cost. It
right.
wasn't like tied to a significant holiday or anniversary, all that kind of stuff.
And is it so? Does it
Um,
say anywhere like is this sister-in-law OP's husband's sister?
yes.
Okay. Because the only other thing I could think of is if it was like her brother's wife,
Right.
and maybe the wife has a crush or feelings for OP's
Oh,
husband. You know what I mean? That then she
yeah,
might be
yeah. Like
upset,
that
be
would be
like,
the
"How dare you
motivator.
give away something that is
Right.
beautiful that your husband bought for you?" You know what I mean? But yeah,
Right.
if
That's
it's
fair.
her
But no.
brother,
Yeah, it's her brother.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess that still could be the case, but I fucking hope
Right.
it's not. Yeah, it's an interesting one, in my
Isn't
opinion,
it?
for sure. Yeah.
I thought so too. But it's
Okay,
nice and short.
yeah. This one's a little bit longer, not by much though. But this is, am I the asshole for feeding my dog table scraps from a dinner my boyfriend made for us?
Hmm.
I, 24 female, have been dating Jay, 28 male, for 4 months. He is handsome, smart, funny, well educated, and has an awesome job and is a sweetheart. Okay,
Okay.
great for you. Uh,
Yeah.
great.
Good.
Sunday, he had a whole day planned for us. We were going for a walk on a nature trail and then going back to his place for dinner and that he was going to make. I was
Okay.
so excited because it was going to be the first time that I would be at his house. And since we were hiking, he said I could bring my dog Shelby with us. He made us a roast with some vegetables for dinner. I finished my
Yum.
plate before Jay did, and I took it to the kitchen. There was still about half of the roast left, and it was close to Shelby's dinner time. So I took half of roast and some still raw
Okay.
vegetables from the fridge, and I put it on the plate for Shelby. I was carrying the plate to the back door with Shelby to feed her outside, and Jay asked me what I was doing, and I told him I was feeding Shelby. Jay said something
Mhm.
like, "Well, that's not dog food." Jay knows I mainly feed Shelby a raw diet. I opened the door to put the plate down for Shelby, and Jay got up, took the plate away from her, and then went to the kitchen and came back with it wrapped up in tinfoil and told me to leave. His excuse was that he made the dinner for me and him, not me, him, and my dog, and that I should have asked before I helped myself since he would have used his leftovers. I did leave, but not before telling him that he made that meal for us, and so I could do with some of it as I pleased. And he knew damn well how I feed Shelby. I tried talking to my friend about this later that night, but she said that Jay was right to be upset, but this friend has never really approved of how I treat my own dog. So I feel like she was probably a bit biased and the wrong person
What?
to ask. Am I the asshole for feeding my dog like I normally would? Uh, Clarification, she does not get restaurant food daily. I eat out maybe 4 times a month. If what I eat is dog safe or the restaurant makes food for dogs on request, then I will bring some home for her. Shelby's daily meals are a bit of brown rice, raw vegetables, and ground chicken hearts and beef liver. And the hearts and livers are boiled just enough to kill the bacteria. That is all with the approval of Shelby's vet. I'm assuming people get real heated
That's a
in
very
comments.
expensive fucking diet you're feeding
It
your
is.
dog, by the way.
It
Holy shit.
is. Um, I asked Jay how he prepared the roast so I could know if it was safe to give her. That's also why I got her fresh, unused vegetables from the fridge. And so let me know. Like, you tell me what you think here.
I think that's one of those things where it's like, if you took the whole rest of the roast, which I don't think she said she did, she just took
No,
a
she took
piece of it.
half of the half. So
Okay.
she took half of what was
She took
left.
a okay. So
So
you
there's
still
still
had some left
leftovers.
over,
Yeah.
then it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. Also, you're like, she was there. It doesn't sound like there was any plans to leave right away. Otherwise, she probably would
Right.
have waited until she got home to feed her dog.
Right.
Her dog is there. The dog does need to eat, and it has a, very strict diet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you would have had any of the foods on hand, or it would have been easy for her to bring like kibble with her because it doesn't really sound like
Right.
she does kibble. Um, so like I don't know what you're expecting. Ultimately, if you're unhappy that a little bit of food that you made went to your like love's dog, the person you're in love
Right.
with dog, like you have bigger issues. Like I don't understand why that would be the hill you die on to get like pissed about it.
Right.
I don't understand. I have questions.
I fully agree. Like, it wasn't like she took everything that was left. Because
Right,
I
that
could
would be
see
different.
that pissing me off if I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this, knowing that I'll have enough
Mhm.
for lunch tomorrow at work or whatever.
Right.
Um, but yeah, he knew that that's how she fed her dog. Like you said,
Mhm.
there wasn't any indication that they were even going to go home that night. So the dog would have to eat somehow.
Yeah.
She was gonna feed the dog outside, so it wasn't gonna make a mess. Like, I don't understand why he gets so upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't either. That makes no sense. That's weird.
right,
And again, if she went into the fridge and got some raw vegetables, which like you could maybe
right.
argue he had planned to use for something else. Like I get that. But at the
Ooh,
same time, we're talking about like veggies. We're not talking about like, you know what I mean? It'd be different if, and obviously you can't feed this to a dog, but like it'd be different if she broke into like his, 50-year-old bottle of scotch, you know what I mean? Something that's like
right,
not
yeah,
easily replaced
without
and super
asking, yeah,
expensive. Yeah, that's different. We're talking about like she chopped up a couple of fucking carrots. You know what I mean?
right, and gave some meat. Like, I mean, my dogs, yeah, I mean, they get kibble every day, but they will also finish. Like, if I don't eat everything on my plate, as long as it's safe for dogs, they'll finish the rest. Like,
Right.
it,
Yeah.
they
It's not that
probably
big of a
shouldn't
deal.
all the time, but that's just how we do it in our household. But yeah,
I
because it's
mean,
like if it's 3 extra bites, I'm not gonna save 3 bites of food. I'll just give it to the dog,
no.
like,
Yeah.
whatever, it's fine. Also moonshine cherries, I almost bought some today. Uh,
Mm,
Regifting for the win.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that
All
was
right.
super
Yeah. That's just strange. That's a strange way to react
right?
to a very like non-issue issue.
Well, and to, like, wrap up leftovers, give it to her with a tinfoil covering a plate and say, "You
Yeah.
need to leave." Like, "Here, here's a plate of food for your dog. but you need to go home now. Like,
Yeah,
Nani? The fuck? Like, I don't understand it.
I don't either. All right, ready for the next one?
Yes.
All right. Am I the asshole for upsetting my mom by saying her dead father was a horrible person? That's the title,
Oh, damn.
right?
I'm here for the juice.
Uh,
Okay.
Me, 21 male, and my mom, 46 female, occasionally. The way he wrote this is weird because it says my 21 male, mom, 46 female. So he's a young man. His mom's 46.
Yeah.
My mom occasionally told me stories about my grandfather, her dad, who died shortly before my parents married each other. Apparently, he was a military general who was also a philanthropist and was very respected in the community. But my dad told me that he extended his quote military attitude to his family. When I asked what that meant, he said, for example, if my grandpa didn't like the dinner that my grandma cooked, he'd casually um walk away while pulling the tablecloth so everything on the table would crash down onto the floor.
What a
I
dick.
found these stories very disturbing, which fucking
Yeah.
yeah, like same bro.
Right.
Um my dad thinks his father-in-law was the reason my mom developed anxiety in her younger years. My mom never disputed it, but she never spoke badly about him either. I thought that my grandpa's behavior was horrible, and one day I voiced that out loud while saying, "Damn, I'm glad I didn't get to meet him." My mom became very upset at my comment. She was hung up on the fact that she never had the dad walking the bride down the aisle experience since he died before her marriage. So my dad thought that I was rude and insensitive towards her feelings. Is he right? Am I the asshole?
See, and it doesn't say how the mom felt. Like,
He
the
said that
mom.
the mom was very upset at my comment,
Oh.
and that's all he gives in terms of her upsettedness. And I'm looking,
I mean,
I'm
I
not
get,
seeing
like,
any comments from OP to like further describe her how upset she was, but it was upset enough for the dad to be um upset with him.
I mean, I get being protective over like your relationship with your father, even if your father wasn't the greatest of people.
Yeah,
I mean, they're like, it almost makes me want to say, like, no assholes here. I mean, because the kid's not wrong in what he said about the
right.
grandfather. But was it necessary to say it in front of his mother? Probably not. Like,
So someone asked, what was the conversation about when you interjected a comment about a guy dying too soon? Kind of sounds like you're the asshole. And he said, I was at dinner with my family. Basically, we were talking about food because we were eating something and my dad had disliked. He said, lightheartedly, I'll admit, that the dinner would be splattered all on the floor right now if he was my granddad in this situation. My mom laughed and said, you should have seen my dad's face. He was so shocked. It was his first dinner with my family. Because evidently, the first time my dad came over to have dinner with my parents, my grandfather pulled that, pulling the tablecloth dinner on the floor trick. I didn't find it very funny and said, no, I wouldn't want to see him. He was horrible, basically, what I said in the post. So
mm,
then the commenter who said that after the clarifying information, yeah, you're not the asshole. Because it came up in like a natural way, which I agree with. Like,
yeah,
because it came up because the dad was like, oh man, yeah, he pulled this on me. And I was like, no, that sounds awful. Like, what an asshole. Glad I didn't meet him.
right.
I can totally get it because,
Yeah,
yeah,
100% I get, like, him saying, like, "That's not an acceptable thing to do," and it's not, by
yeah,
any means is that not an okay thing to do just because you don't like the meal that was prepared for you. You
right.
say, "Thank
Yeah.
you, I appreciate the effort. I'm gonna go fix myself something else to eat because I don't care for this."
Hmm.
Um, you don't throw everything on the floor so nobody gets to eat.
Right.
Uh, yeah, so that definitely makes me feel like, he's not the asshole then.
No, I don't think so. And I get that the mom's probably like sensitive about it. That's really tough when you grow up with parents who weren't great in some way. Like
Right,
that's a tough relationship, especially if he died before you could, hash it out with them or whatever.
right, right,
Um, but yeah, you're definitely not the asshole because I don't know. That sounds pretty shitty. Now, granted, this is the only
right.
example we have of his grandfather's horribleness. But like, if he said it because of that instance and with the explanation around it of like we were having dinner and that's how this topic came up, then like you're kind of in the right to be like, well, shit. Like, I'm glad. that
Yeah,
I
like,
wasn't
that's
I didn't have
not
to go through
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, like, that would've been super uncomfortable for me, I'm glad I wasn't here, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I get that, I fully get that. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't think he's an asshole for saying it
no,
like that then.
right.
Okay, so this one's an interesting one. Am I the asshole for not feeling sorry for my homeless parents and not offering my house for
Oof,
them to stay or to help?
oof.
Yeah. My
We'll see.
30-year-old female parents had me at age 15. My whole childhood was hell. They never put me up for adoption or anything like that because my grandparents would help. And every time CPS was triggered, then they suddenly became the best parents in the world and would blackmail me to
Mm,
lie. But the reality is that I lived alone for most of the week. And at 8 years old, I already knew how to make myself a meal.
oh,
While my parents were partying, traveling, drinking, or fighting. When I was 15, they fell in love again and had kids like rabbits. 15-year-old male, 13-year-old female, 12-year-old female, 11-year-old male, and 9-year-old male. I left
wow,
home when
they
I was
really did have kids like
they
rabbits.
really did
Holy
like
shit.
rabbits. Yeah.
Yeah.
I left home when I was 18 years old, and it hurt in the bottom of my soul to have to leave my siblings, but I couldn't stand, and I had no financial conditions.
Mm,
At 24, I passed a public contest that pays me very well. That means I scraped my ass off to study and work. At 25, CPS had contacted me saying that they had taken away my parents' custody of all of their children
holy
and
shit.
asked, yeah, if I was able to take care of at least one. They were looking for relatives, and I said I would take care of everyone.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to
That's a
take
lot to
on
take on.
at 24 to take on what,
Yeah,
5 kids? Yeah,
that's a lot. That's like I mean, a lot in so many ways other than just monetary. That's
right.
emotionally a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Um, And it says, I
Wow.
know it's not my responsibility, but a part of me. I always wanted to get them out of that. And only now did I have a good job. My house is not very big. It's a 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom. But my husband and
That's
I,
big. The
he,
fuck are you talking about? Holy
right,
shit.
yeah.
I mean, not
But
big enough for
for
5 kids,
five
but
kids
still.
and 2 adults, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but my husband and I, and then it says, he also wanted to, I'm assuming, take the kids in. Were able to accommodate everyone, and we were not so tight financially. They are good students, polite and affectionate. I don't regret having welcomed each one, and my husband treats everyone as if he were a big brother or a father, but a young father. My parents have tried to get them back, as my parents cut off the help after they lost custody, but they couldn't, and custody became permanent for me. I think that's just referring to like parents couldn't get custody back. We haven't had contact with them for 2 years. The way this is written, I don't think that this is a native English speaker, just by the sentence structure. So I apologize if kind of reword or moving words around as needed. So we haven't had contact with them for 2 years. My father's sister called me these days saying that she was shocked seeing my parents as homeless people asking for money on the street. The family is moving to see if anyone can shelter them, and they decided to come and ask me if I would help shelter them or financially help since I had a good job. I replied, nah, I pass. For them, no, and I'd rather give this money to their children that I raise. My father's whole family has started to fill me with messages saying that I'm turning my back on 2 people who slept on the streets. How cold hearted am I to do this? And I don't even want to help when I can. I just blocked everyone. My husband said that he is on my side, but that I should give a symbolic amount so as not to have weight on my conscience. Uh, am I the asshole? And it says, I don't speak English as a first language. Sorry for the wording. At least I pegged that much correctly.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, what's your judgment on it? I know how I
Well,
feel
first of
very
all,
strongly about it.
I just wanna say thank you, Wookie. We always appreciate it when you say nice things. Wookie said
I
we
miss
look very
it
pretty
because
today.
Well, thank you, Wookie. I have
Right.
to, like, block it so that I can't read
You
it.
can read. Yeah,
So I can read the articles because my ADD is, like,
absolutely.
all over the place.
Totally
Yeah,
understandable.
thank you,
Um,
Wookie. Appreciate it.
so my thoughts are complicated. Um, they are already taking on the burden of being a parent by taking in 5 fucking kids that it sounds like had CPS done its job correctly the first time would not have been had. And as unfortunate as that is, because I mean they are lives and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been born. I'm saying that CPS failed the 24-year-old, failed OP by
Right,
not properly intervening and providing them with a quality life. And so my heart hurts for them.
right,
Absolutely. Because they missed out on a childhood and now they're missing out on young adulthood. Being 24, having to take care of 5 other kids, your siblings, means that you're not living the life that a normal
right,
24-year-old has. And so these parents have been incredibly selfish in that regard. I do still empathize with them for being homeless, and that's obviously a situation that I don't wish on anyone because it is incredibly difficult to get out of because of the way that jobs won't accept you if you don't have a permanent residence, and there's a
right,
lot of issues with it. So while I absolutely, can feel empathetic for the situation they have now found themselves in, they also worked hard to get there. They continued down a path that was very clearly not in anyone's best interest and have found
right,
themselves in this situation and now are trying to rely again on their child for
right,
support when they never provided said child with support in the first place.
right,
Um, so I don't think that OP is an asshole for not providing them with any sort of financial or housing based help. I mean,
right.
the most I would have expected out of the situation was for him to be like, okay, well, I found a shelter over on 3rd Street. They'll take you. You know what I mean? They have 2 open slots. That's the most I would have expected anyone to do because of only because of the abuse and the neglect that they suffered for years leading up to the situation that they find themselves in. It's incredibly difficult, though. I can't imagine. I just can't.
No, I can't either. And honestly, like, helping out and taking these 5 children in is helping the parent. I mean, it just goes to
Mhm.
show that the parents really don't give a shit about these kids because they
Yeah.
should be very thankful that their kids have a safe, loving home
Yeah.
to go to and somebody to care for them financially and emotionally. And if I were the parent in this situation, I'd be like, I done fucked up. Thank you for taking my kids. That's all I need from you,
Mhm.
because that is a huge, huge thing. And I hope to God I'm never in that position. But if I ever were, um, I at least hope that that's how I would react. But it's just, it comes off very
Yeah.
entitled and very needy to say
Mhm.
that what OP is doing isn't enough
Right.
help for their parents,
Yeah.
in that respect. So it's just
In
very
some ways, they've
frustrating.
already taken in 5 unhoused people. You know what I
5
mean?
kids,
Yeah.
all close in age. I mean, 9 to 15. Oh my god, Dave, you're gonna die.
Yeah. 9 to 15 is, I mean,
That's a
and
lot.
the
9 to
schedules of 9 to 15-year-olds, like,
yeah,
being someone who is actively involved in a community setting, like, I know what it's like at each of those age ranges, the typical activities they're doing,
yeah.
either through school, like school mandated activities or
Well,
extracurricular activities,
and
the
the
cost of said
attitudes that
activities.
you get at that age
Oh
range,
god,
like,
yeah. Absolutely.
fuck, my
Absolutely.
lips feel fancy.
Plus that means you have a couple of kids who are
Fancy
getting
put on
ready
that red
to be
dress.
hitting that road where they're deciding if they're gonna go to college or not, and college is fucking expensive.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
like,
so helping to get financial aid for them if they're eligible and if that's what they want, or to help them to find a trade school or
right.
just go straight into the workforce, like, there's still a lot to be done there. They're not done in 3 years of the oldest kid, and
No,
it's their siblings, so they're
no,
not done no matter what.
right,
You know what
and
I mean?
then
Like, it's tough.
and I mean, God bless OP for taking these kids in and giving them a
Yeah,
safe place. Period. Okay, I'm gonna have to ignore Dave for a little bit.
yeah,
Not because I don't
probably
love Dave, but
best.
because his ADD is gonna affect my ADD, and then I'm gonna go off on
Mhm.
a tangent. The clock strikes at midnight. But yeah, like I just, ugh,
Yeah,
the the fact that these people cannot provide for their firstborn child, and then
yeah,
because they got that child back, it sounds like, or
mhm,
didn't lose OP,
right,
they then proceeded to have 5 more children
yep,
with no recollection or no care about supporting those children financially, emotionally,
yeah,
whatever. Um, and I know in other countries, birth control isn't always as available as it is, here, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. So that can definitely come into play, and I'm not trying to discount that, but
right.
get a fucking condom at that point. Like, ugh,
At least one.
right?
Bubble wrap
Reuse
it
it if
before
you
you
have
tap
to,
it. Holy
wash it. I
shit.
don't fucking care. Like, figure it out. You don't need.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow, it's super
Ugh.
frustrating.
Yeah, I feel for
Ugh,
OP. It's an
yeah,
unfortunate situation all around,
yeah,
for sure. Mm,
absolutely. But I'm so the reusable kind, right? Um,
yeah,
Literally and figuratively. Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm thankful that these kids at least have a safe environment
right.
to grow up in and people that love them. And
Yeah.
fucking I mean, it's OP is amazing in this story, in my opinion, but OP's
Oh,
husband
100%.
also. I mean, OP's husband has no blood relation to them. I mean, we can assume that OP's husband had no idea that, I mean,
Mhm.
maybe even that they didn't even exist,
Yeah.
until it became this issue. So, just
And can
good
we just
on.
say, shout out to OP for having the childhood they had, and by the age of 24 is married with a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Like,
Absolutely.
you fucking pulled that
Absolutely.
shit out. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
put
you
yourself in a
very much
position where you
took
could
your
support yourself,
right.
and
Yeah,
so
you
you
took your
deserve some
childhood in
recognition
here.
for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the way
Wow.
it was written, so I will admit, like it said four uh what was it? 4BA. Hold on. Because to me initially it's made it look like it was 4 bathrooms. Yeah. 4BA/2BE. So like I read 4 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, but I don't think that that's
I
right
don't think a
because
house like that exists.
right, no matter what country you're in. So I did switch it
Yeah,
around, so maybe that was wrong. But I would think it's a 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know what a 2-bedroom, 4-bathroom house would look like, but I'm
right.
pretty sure,
I mean, it would have to be
you
huge
can't
ass
find it,
bedrooms to get
right?
4 bathrooms. But
Yeah.
um,
I mean, at least they'd all get their own potty for the most part, so that'd be nice,
right,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, that wouldn't be awful.
Yeah,
Or at
that's
least the
so
boys
funny.
and girls can have separate ones,
Right?
and then OP and her husband can have a separate one, and then there's a guest bathroom or something. But
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you've got 3 boys, 2 girls from 15 to 9. Like
yeah,
that's a
that's tough.
lot. That's a lot to take on when you're 24.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Alright, you ready for another one?
Yes.
Okay. Am I the asshole for saying there's a special special layer of hell for people who schedule their weddings on holiday weekends?
I
Which sounds
almost picked this
innocuous
one.
enough. My wife's sister, 28 female, recently got married. So OP doesn't say who they are and how old they are, but I'm
Mhm.
assuming that he is male based on the comments he put.
Sure.
That his wife is female based on the comments he put. I have no idea his age though. I don't know if he's older or younger, but here we are.
Okay.
Um, so the sister recently got married. Their wedding day was on Labor Day weekend. It wasn't a destination wedding, but it did require us to travel there by plane. It was also the fifth wedding that we had to attend this year, so I will admit I was experiencing wedding fatigue. If it wasn't my sister in law, I probably would have seriously considered not attending. But since it was my wife's only sister, she has three brothers, one of whom also got married this summer, I didn't have
Fair
much of a
thought.
choice.
Sure.
Due to the fact that we had so many summer weekends taken up by weddings, and the fact that this particular one was scheduled for a holiday weekend, I was less than enthusiastic about the whole thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for my sister-in-law and her husband. They're good people. But scheduling weddings on holiday weekends is a huge pet peeve of mine. Since my wife was also the maid of honor, we had to take Friday off of work anyway to attend the rehearsal and dinner that night. Then Saturday was the actual wedding, and Sunday there were also planned family events that we had to attend. So we flew back home Monday morning. By the time we got home, all I wanted to do was relax and try to enjoy the few remaining hours of my weekend before returning to work. My wife wanted to run errands and do chores to get ready for the week, and I told her I was not going to do anything other than sit on the couch, and she got mad at me for not helping. I explained that I was burnt out from the weekend and just wanted to relax. She told me that I was a jerk for not being happy for her sister, and I told her I was happy for her sister, but I was also lamenting the fact that a holiday weekend was taken up by a wedding instead of something that I actually wanted to do. I told her that I feel like scheduling a wedding on a holiday weekend is selfish and that there's a special layer of hell reserved for people that do that. I also told her that I can't wait for years when we don't have any weddings to attend. She told me that her sister specifically planned it for a holiday weekend because they knew people would have to travel, and this way people wouldn't have to take time off of work. I told her that we had to take time off of work anyway, and that I would have rather taken another day off if the wedding wasn't on a holiday weekend, so that I could plan something for the holiday that I actually wanted to do. My wife apparently told her sister that I was unhappy with her wedding schedule, and sister-in-law has since sent me a very snarky text, quote, apologizing for taking my holiday weekend away from me. I didn't respond, but I did tell my wife that I don't appreciate her telling her sister about a private conversation we had. Neither one of them is very happy with me, and my wife thinks I need to apologize to my sister-in-law, even though she wouldn't have known my feelings on the issue unless my wife had told her.
There's a whole lot there.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's upset for very petty reasons
hmm
altogether.
I don't know. I can totally see. I think the important thing about this one is the context of they had just been at family wedding activities Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Had to fly
Yeah.
back home on Monday. When they got home on Monday, the wife is like, let's run out and get groceries and do laundry and all this. And he's like, I just want to sit on the fucking couch. Like, we've had an entire whole ass weekend. Like, leave me the fuck alone. And she called him lazy because he didn't want to do things that you would normally do on a weekend. And so I think, like, more than anything, his frustration came out, especially because, like, I know after I've traveled and done shit and had to be around people, like, I'm done. I'm not a nice
Yeah.
person to be around. If you look at
Right.
me the wrong way, you're going to get talked to the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Uh,
I can totally understand how, like, yeah, you might have been an asshole, but she was also kind of an asshole for being like, for not understanding that he just went through all this shit. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, maybe, yeah, let's take the day. So,
Right.
like, I think that that is also a factor. But also, the
Right.
wife is 100% wrong for saying something to the sister and making it a bigger deal than it needed to be. Because the sister didn't need to know that information,
Right.
and you've made it into something more than, you know what I mean?
But on the flip side, I do understand you like wanting to vent to your sister about like I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
ideally, she
100%.
would have vented to somebody other than her sister because her sister
Right.
is indirectly involved in the situation. But
Yeah.
I get needing to vent to somebody that isn't your significant other
Right.
because, I mean, I do that too, or not necessarily about Dave, but about other things where like I'll go to somebody that isn't involved. I mean, I did it with you and Dave and Chris the other day. where it was not involved, like not the people
Mhm.
involved in what I was feeling, but I just needed a vent to get my feelings out because my feelings
Right.
were hurt. You know what I mean? And but I didn't need to go any further than that. Um,
Yeah.
than me just saying like, "Yo, this fucking sucks." Like, they hurt my feelings.
Right.
But yeah, ideally, she wouldn't have told the sister that was involved in it because then that just blew it up and made it a bigger deal.
Yep.
And that's the immaturity or like lack of experience in situations like this, I think, showing. But I get both sides of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm somebody too that I'm just like, if I get overstimulated or I'm just over
Yeah.
people, I'm like, "Ugh, fuck you all. I want to go home. Like, I want to be at home with my
Right.
dogs and no one else, you know?
Yeah.
Um, or just my significant other and like nobody else. We're
Yeah.
interested in weenus. Okay.
Someone said that please keep in they said you're the asshole, not necessarily for having the opinion about wedding scheduling, but because of how you chose to handle this. Your
Yeah.
wife was the maid of honor. That means you've known this is happening and that it would require full
Oh,
participation over the course of the entire wedding weekend, likely
yeah.
for more than a year. This wasn't
Yeah.
news to you, and yet you still slipped into the funk of a shitty attitude and took it out on your wife. She gave up her weekend too, which I have a problem with that just because to be like, you knew this was happening, so you can't be upset that it
Well,
happened. It's like, no, no,
I know what a
feelings
weenus is. I don't
exist.
know what a weenus has to do with the situation we're talking about.
Hey, Dave, you're distracting my very ADHD
I'm so sorry.
co-host.
I'm
Can
just
you
like,
shut up?
I
Sorry.
love you. Um,
Um, so her saying like you knew it was happening, you can't get upset, I think is a stupid point. This commenter, I think that's a stupid comment because like feelings happen, emotions happen. Like you
right.
can't
Yeah.
protect yourself by having foreknowledge that something's going to happen necessarily. They also said, please keep in mind that while you'd love to just take separate time off for a wedding, not on a holiday weekend, not everyone has that option. Most don't. In fact, holiday weekends can be helpful for those scheduling weddings because it often means everyone already is available, or at the very least, should hopefully not have to deal with time off from work, which I
Right.
agree with. But the wedding was on Saturday. You know what I
Like,
mean?
so
And
when
then
I
they
got
had planned
married, like,
mandatory activities on Sunday. So you have still, like,
right.
you're
I
still going to
mean,
have
if
to
it's
fly in Friday
mandatory, like that's a whole different thing. But I mean, it might have been mandatory for the wedding party. I may
for
have
the
missed
wedding
that part.
party. Yeah. Yeah, it
But like
was.
when I got married, we got married Memorial Day weekend, and but we flat out said like if you have right, some people do have to work holidays. Some people
Yeah.
already have plans. For, like we flat out told people if you usually go to your cabin that weekend, don't worry about it. Like this is just what works for us and already gives us a day off of work like for
Right.
the honeymoon like it just that's what works out best for us but we flat out were like yo we're not here to disrupt your normal plans go do your normal thing but you know you're still invited like we would love to have you here
Right.
but if you're not we are cool with that too like what up Lauren
What up? Good to see you.
D and I are in fact well, I mean, I'm okay being called a bro. I'm just saying. I was gonna make
Yeah.
some joke about being a chick, not a bro, but right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
Labor
for sure
Day
depends on
is
the
a
holiday. It
holiday
is
where it's
Labor
like,
Day.
you know, but a lot of
Right.
people
It's
go to
not
their
like,
cabin because it's their last like hoorah for the summer, and I mean, I
yeah.
get that too. Um, yeah,
So
Fourth
my
of
thing is,
July,
funny
like,
you should
yeah,
mention 4th of July because my grandparents actually got married on July 5th because he was serving at the time. And so it was the only day they had guaranteed off.
sure,
So
yeah,
that's why they got married that day
right,
because it was the only time that he could actually attend his own fucking wedding. And so like that's different. I can totally understand why like weddings may need to be scheduled on a holiday. I'm not saying that I agree with OP's like idea that, you know, doing it on a holiday weekend, go fuck
right,
yourself. I think that there are definitely times. I think that ultimately this comes down to a communication thing. OP was tired and had his
right,
fill of having
right,
activities and his wife was like, "No, no, there's more to do." And he was like, "Go
yeah,
fuck yourself. I need a break." And then he said some very dumb shit.
yeah. Yeah, and I get being just done with the situation, but in
Yeah.
theory, he would have known like, okay, I have 6 weddings over the course of the summer and it's going to be hell. but
Right.
I know, oh, no, you're good.
Yeah.
I was like, because my brain didn't comprehend the wave. But yeah, I was like, no, Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Christmas, 4th of July, fuck you, don't hold a wedding on those days.
Right.
Um, that you expect people to show up to. Like,
Yeah.
right. But I also get like his wife had a brother and sister both get married in the same summer, which, hi, that's an asshole thing to do, period, in my humble opinion.
Oh, if my brother planned a wedding the same summer that my wedding was planned for, even if they're a month apart, I'm murdering him in his sleep.
Right. Like,
Like,
because
first of all, don't.
Steve's brother and sister in law got engaged after we did, but they set their date first. And I wanted a fall wedding, but
Mm.
they got set their date for September 12th. See, that's annoying as
Dave,
fuck.
you'd be dead right now. If you were my brother, you'd be dead.
Same year, different years. Okay, then that's fine.
Okay.
No, we're
Jesus.
talking same year. So like, but I was like, I
Yeah.
wanted a fall wedding,
Why? Oh,
but I did not want to do that because I was looking at like October, right? So I'm like, I'm
right.
not going to do two weddings in 2 months. That's not fair. And so
No.
we put it off till May the next year because I didn't want to wait a full year. And I
Right.
was okay with a, late spring, early summer kind of wedding. But um
Yeah.
yeah, it's just why
100%.
would you do that to your
That's so much
family?
for the family. Exactly. Like now your parents
Especially if your parents are
are having
financially contributing, like that's a lot.
right. That's a lot. But also your mom has to get two different dresses because she can't be in the same dress in the photos for you with your sister and with the brother. You know what I mean? Like there's a ton of like different considerations that when they're that close together, like
Yeah.
you're expecting a lot, especially financially because presumably the same people going to the sibling's wedding are going to the other sibling's wedding.
Right.
Like,
Well, and yeah, any family like gift wise, like that's a lot
right.
um of a
And
financial
again,
commitment.
like OP knew that these were happening, that he had
Yeah.
like 6
Like
weddings to
you
go
had to
to.
just get through one more. You like I get saying I'm burnt out. Like I'm not gonna be uber
Yeah,
helpful. I'm not gonna, probably not gonna enjoy myself as much as I would with number one, whatever. But it's still your wife is the maid of honor in her sister's wedding,
yeah,
which is a big deal. Her one sister, she has brothers otherwise.
right.
Um,
Oh, yeah, it's super important, and I totally get
yeah,
it. The thing is, I don't wanna straight up call him an asshole because what he said, very dickish, like, not
yeah.
appropriate.
He
But
just
I
didn't need
also
to say what he said.
can I can 100% understand why he said it, because the foul shit that's come out of my mouth when I've been tapped out by human interaction,
That is true.
like, the biggest fight I've ever gotten into with my best friend was after I had just finished moving her, like, from Florida up to Virginia,
Yeah.
and I we her stupid ass fucking boyfriend at the time was there and was helping, but he was the least helpful motherfucker I've ever met in my life, and there's, like, a whole story with that. But I had to spend, like, a day and a half in the car with him, and it was actually really, like, 2 full days because, again, helping. So after 2 full days of someone that, like, whose personality I do not vibe with,
Right.
who fucked us over at least 6 different ways in 2 days, like, I was fucking done. I was
Yeah.
fucking done. And so we got in and we were moved in, and, like, there's all this other shit that then happens once we've moved in that, like, again, I'll share offline with you later, that
Sure.
just had me, like, really rubbed up. So when I was, like, telling her, like, "Hey, by the way, I don't like your boyfriend," because she was like, "What's with your attitude? Is it because you're on your period?" I was like, "First of all, yes. Second of all, go fuck
Fuck
yourself.
you. Yeah.
Third
Yeah.
of all, this is why," and I did not hold back, you know what I mean? I was very, very blunt about what
Yeah.
I thought about him,
Mhm.
and like, it
Because
was what it
just fuck
was, but at the
yourself.
same time, I had been peopled out to the
Yeah.
extreme. And we've
100%.
talked about it since, like, we're good, you know what I mean? But, like,
Yeah.
she
Well,
totally
yeah,
was
but
like,
you
"Yeah,
just
that was maybe not the best time for me to ask why your emotions were what they were when I knew that you were maxed out emotionally." It's like, yeah,
well,
I
and
mean, not
I'm
that it
sorry,
makes what I said
but
okay,
girls
but
can usually
you
tell when
asked for
another girl is on their period. You don't have to fucking ask the question and have it with that tone of voice of like, wow, you're really being a bitch. Are you on the reg? Like,
Yeah.
fuck
And, like, I'm
you up
probably
the mountain.
exaggerating the way she said it a little bit, but either way, it was
Right.
like,
But
this is not
still.
helpful to the conversation either. You know
Right.
I'm pissed, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you
Yeah.
know why I'm pissed, but you don't wanna admit that the
Yeah.
reason why I'm pissed is valid, so you're
Yeah.
gonna make it,
Yeah.
like,
So
about
you're gonna
me.
play dumb and like, yeah.
Which
I
again,
get
like,
it.
we've had this conversation because she is no longer with said man because she
Good.
realized useless.
Good.
And we've had it and she's like, I wish I had just like listened to you then because you
Yeah.
were spot fucking on. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem was that both of us were in an emotional state. And that's why I can so empathize with OP
Right.
because he was in a highly emotional state from having been peopled out. And he said some fucked up shit that he should not have said, and it does not excuse it. But
Right.
then the wife went and made an already bad situation worse by telling the sister-in-law and now wants to act like he has to apologize. It's like, no, you shouldn't have told your fucking sister. I'll
Right.
apologize to you for saying some fucked up shit to you, but you didn't need
Right.
to tell anybody else about it. That's on you.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
Okay. Do we have time for me to read one more? Or do we want to move on? How do we feel? Move on?
that's up to you.
Okay. We can move on to the game.
Okay.
It is almost 7. So I
Yeah.
will just save this one for next time. All right.
Okay.
So Dave has spot an idiot. I don't remember what it's called.
Dave has something.
Oh, yeah. The idiot test. Okay. Okay.
So this is 100% what I posted, I think in the memes channel a little while
Yeah.
ago and tagged
Yeah.
Danger, and I was like,
You did.
it us.
Hondo percent it is
Mm-hmm.
because it says, yeah. I think my
Yeah.
response was like, wait a minute, that was our one brain cell.
Yeah.
Why
That's so
did you get
funny.
away with it? Can you hear him now, Chris? You should be able to, in theory.
Oh, yeah, you can hear me now. I'm dumb.
Okay.
Okay. No? No, you
How
can't
about
hear
now?
him?
Yes, he can hear me.
Oh, now you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
He
We're dealing with a bit
responded
of
to
a
you
delay.
before he waited a hot fucking second.
Well, you know, I mean, we got excited.
You
Like,
couldn't tell whether or
send
not you
your
were
voice.
responding yet because I couldn't hear you.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
It's
makes sense.
fine. Don't be angry. No.
All
I'm
right,
not
what game
angry.
do we got today?
I
Don't
Well,
you
you
tell me.
tell me.
Oh, that is this.
Tell me how to live my life. Not my real mom. Okay.
This is the idiot test.
This
Okay.
is very small.
Okay, there we go.
We're gonna have to resize it as we go because it tucked itself into a corner for some reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Simply click on the square to begin. Where am I clicking?
On the square.
Okay, which one is the square?
It says the square is blue, so I assume the blue square.
Okay.
I assume. Okay.
Okay.
Press the
Jacksepticeye did this, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Press the big
Press
red
the
button to continue.
red
We'll
button
call
to
these buttons
continue.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
Which button are we pressing?
3.
This one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is a trap somehow. I just know it.
Fabulous. Press the
100%.
rectangle to continue.
The rectangle's the one second middle.
This
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a rectangle.
Yeah.
Those were all rectangles, by the way. All squares are rectangles.
Yeah. That's the more rectangular
All right.
rectangle.
What should I do here?
Press the red button twice, then
No, isn't
the
it
green
all?
button once.
Isn't it that all rectangles are squares, but not all squares are rectangles? Or is it the opposite way?
It's the opposite.
Okay.
All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are square.
Got
A
it.
square is a shape with 4 equal sides and 4 equal
4
angles.
equal
A
sides.
rectangle has
Mhm.
4.
4 sides. Yeah. Okay.
4 sides, but 2 are longer than the others.
Right.
Or 2 could be
Yep.
shorter.
All right.
Now what do I
press
do?
the blue button. Press the blue button 3 times, then the orange button 4 times.
1, 2,
and
3.
3.
Orange.
No.
1,
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I was right.
2, 3, 4.
4.
Okay.
Way to go. You passed the first level. You can now consider yourself as a borderline idiot. To continue,
Woo,
press the
woo.
picture of a cat. So it has to be the first one because it's a singular cat, right?
Right. Well, and technically the middle one was 2 kittens.
All right, what should I do?
Yeah.
Up arrow once and the down arrow twice. So up
Okay.
arrow
Up
one
It didn't
time.
do anything.
once.
What?
It didn't
You
do
can even
anything.
move
Press
mouse.
the up arrow once and the down arrow twice.
Click on it with your mouse.
Oh,
No,
you want me
click
to
on the
click on the one
button.
on screen?
Well, yeah, I
Mhm.
think that's what you're supposed to do.
Press the rectangle twice. Top middle looks like the rectangle to me. Does it look like that one to you, Danger?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Let's click that one twice. Oh, it
This
shifts.
one?
Okay. Bottom right.
And then
right.
bottom right, yeah. Okay. Don't press the
Don't
red
press
button.
the
Click
red
anywhere
button.
but on the button.
Click
Click on the
anywhere but
light.
on the button.
Yes.
Okay, I did that.
Good job. You can now
Almost
consider
average.
yourself as almost average, which in
We
today's
are-
society is classified as brilliant. To continue, press the X. So I guess that X
Well,
there in
wait.
purple, is that an X?
Try the X on your keyboard first, please.
Oh,
That didn't do
It didn't do
anything.
anything. Then click it
Okay.
with your mouse. Just wanted
Yep.
to make sure.
okay.
So yellow, blue, yellow.
Yep. Yellow, blue, yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow's up top.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So no instructions.
So what do I do?
Oh, wait.
Oh,
What
it
is the
did something. It
formation?
changed on its own.
The letter R.
Yeah, the
It looks
letter
like the letter R.
R. Way to go. You can now consider yourself
Average.
as average. To continue, press the smallest red button, which is in the top right
No,
corner.
top right. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
I'm
got
going to
excited.
you're
correct
fine.
you with the answer you're giving already.
No, she saw your mouse going down.
Yeah,
I saw it
I saw it
too.
go down, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
He was finishing the sentence. The lightest,
The
blue.
lightest
Okay,
blue
I'm
square.
colorblind. I shouldn't answer this question.
So that depends on how you define lightest and blue.
So
but it's the lightest
Depends
blue
on what your
square.
definition of the word
Okay.
is.
No. It's
that
not
too.
only that, but it also has to be a square. There are rectangles that are lighter. So just under that long, I would say more of like a teal colored one, there is a
yeah, so like
light
the far
blue
right.
square.
This?
Yeah.
That one, correct.
Okay.
Press the square twice. Okay,
The
which
middle
one is
one,
the middle one? Yeah,
This one?
right? Yeah.
that one. And then,
then
the
left.
bottom left.
That one.
That one. Don't press the
Anywhere
green
but the
button, so click anywhere but the button.
Or just wait the timer out. It
I
Or just
clicked.
wait, yeah. Good job.
Kinda
You can now.
smart.
Kind of smart. Okay.
I'll take that as a
Press the
compliment.
green
Thank
button
you.
to continue. So that's the first one on the left. Yeah. Press the number 4 to
4.
continue. The red one right above your cursor. Yep.
Yeah.
Hit the
Oval.
oval.
So
So
the far
right-hand
right
side
with the
middle.
second one down. That
Yeah.
one, right?
Okay.
Red circle
Red
one
circle
time.
once. Yep. Blue triangle 1 time. Green rectangle 2 time.
Okay.
All right. So red circle first.
Yep.
Blue triangle in the middle once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Green
Green
rectangle
rectangle
twice.
bottom.
And then that
Bottom.
again. Smart.
Okay, we are smart.
MRT.
Continue, press the
I'm so
green
smart.
circle. So they're on the left. This is going really well, actually, so
This
far.
is
I don't want
like,
to be too confident because there's going to be something.
it's gonna fuck us up at some point, but you fool.
Okay, if you want to try it again, then hit the big rewind button. That is, if you're smart enough to.
Why did we fuck that up?
Because you have to do it quickly. So we took too long to read. So if it brings you back, all right, click the big button, I guess.
Right. Okay. The square.
Okay.
The middle.
I'm just going to go through stuff you've already done.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a feeling that when you get to the second time, it's gonna be different. So you're thinking, "Oh, press it quick," and then
Yeah.
when you do it, it's like, "Oh, you big dumb." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we need to be careful.
Yeah. Anywhere but.
Yep.
Or wait it out, maybe. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
it's a
sense.
wait.
Okay.
Yellow, then
So
blue,
yellow,
then
blue,
yellow.
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 R.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
That one.
Middle one.
In the middle,
Bottom
bottom
left.
left.
Anywhere but. Or wait it out. Hey Chris, if we pass this,
Green button.
do we get a raise?
Yeah, that was my question too.
Okay.
Number 4,
Yeah.
oval,
Oh, that's rude.
red circle,
blue,
blue
and then green.
triangle, green
Okay,
rectangle
red circle,
twice.
blue triangle, green rectangle. I think we deserve a raise.
Circle. Yeah. All right. Quick, press it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we're not doing this a third time. We've already done it. Game over.
Why is that not fast enough? That's what's frustrating to me.
I don't think it matters how quickly you do it.
It doesn't.
Oh, that's
It
just the end of the
going
game.
back-
As far as I know, that's the end of the game.
Well, that's
There are
fucking
bigger,
dumb.
newer, and expanded versions of this.
Yeah.
But I think this is where the guy who did the impossible quiz got the
Mhm.
idea. We're gonna do the impossible quiz next week.
Oh, goody.
Oh no, better idea. I'll make Chris do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, then that brings us to the femme fatale of the week, right?
I think so, yeah.
So this week it was my choice, and
Mhm.
I chose Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Gaga. AKA Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanata. I butchered her last name, I'm sure. But actually no. Germanata. Germanata.
Germanata,
Um,
I think it is.
so she is another 1986 baby.
Woohoo. Lady
But she is known
Gaga.
for Lady Gaga.
Hmm.
Professionally known as Lady Gaga. She's a singer, songwriter, actress. If you don't know who she is, where have you fucking been your
You're
whole
under
life?
a rock. Yeah, Jesus
Um,
Christ.
and I do have to admit, when she first hit the scene, I was not a fan. She was very outlandish.
Fair
You
enough.
know, it was back when she wore a mask all the time. Um, and for me personally, it wasn't until she really started speaking out about um the fact that like she was told she wasn't pretty enough to be a star, that she'd
Yep.
have to have plastic
Fucked
surgery
up. Yeah.
and all of the stuff. So that's why she went out and I think she's talked about I believe it was when she was living in New York, she would just like walk around with her keyboard and like
Mhm.
bust into producers offices and be like, I'm gonna sing for you,
Whether
and
you like it or
would
not.
perform.
Yeah.
And she is, it's just an incredible singing voice and
Yeah.
somebody who um I mean, I truly believe she was born to be a performer. Um
Yeah.
and just has such a good heart. Um and just like I the more I learn about who she is, who Stephanie is, the more I appreciate it, you know.
Right. Yeah,
Um
absolutely.
but but yeah, like the meat dress all of that. Like that was back when
Yeah,
I was
didn't
like,
love that.
who is this person? Right? Like
I will say that I
why?
think I
Yeah,
totally get that because I had the same feelings about some of the ways that she was dressing. I
right,
think she's gotten better about, like, her statement pieces actually making a statement,
right,
versus then I think it was just for, like, the shock of it, and that I did not love as much.
right.
Her
But
music was
I
always,
get
like, really listenable, though, you know what I mean? Like, it
right.
was always
Oh
fun.
yeah. And singable. And I mean they're
Mhm.
just bangers and she just can belt it. Um,
Yeah. She's got a great voice.
but oh God, it's just amazing. But yeah, like but it wasn't until I really learned why she wanted that shock value. She wanted to
Mhm.
be whoever she wanted to be in that moment.
Right.
To shock people, to get her name out there, I think, and then because she knew she could then be more accepted once people
Mhm.
knew how talented she was, and I fully understand that um mentality, and I think she's beautiful. I mean, I don't understand why somebody would look at her and you're not pretty enough to be a star. Like, and I'm thankful for the fact that we're in a getting to a point more in society day
Mm.
and like every day or every year where how pretty you are uh to societal standards doesn't matter as much as it
Right.
used to. Um
Still have a long way to go, but yeah, definitely.
right, but we're moving in the right direction in my
Yeah.
opinion. Um so she yeah, songs like Poker Face, um Bad Romance, which I fucking love that song. Born
Yeah.
This Way, which was a huge like electronic rock techno pop. It sold more than 1 million copies in its first week on shelves. Um,
Massively popular, for sure.
right. Yeah. Born This Way, the title that as the title track became the fastest selling song on the iTunes store with over 1 million downloads in less than a week. Um,
Wow.
yeah, she's released a jazz album called Cheek to Cheek in 2014 with Tony Bennett. Um, she has the soft rock album Joanne, which Joanne is probably one of my favorite songs she sang.
Yeah.
Um, she has played leading roles in American Horror Story Hotel, which was the 2015-2016 season, where she did win a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress. Um, and the first movie that I think I truly fell in love with her voice and her persona, like just how she presents herself, was in A Star Is Born with
Mm.
Bradley Cooper in 2018.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
which that movie just actually brings me back to Nick, my ex that drank himself to death because I was with him that I first watched that movie, and he goes, "Oh, look, it's us," because he's an alcoholic and she's trying to save
Cool.
him, and doesn't want to be saved. And I went, "Good to know." Um,
Yeah.
but I
That's not
mean
as
that
romantic as it was in his head, I'm sure.
right. Uh, but yeah, like the song "Shallow" is one of my favorite songs to sing with
Mhm.
nobody able to hear me. But just
Fair
in
enough.
general, she has sold an estimated 170 million records. She's one of the world's best-selling music artists of all time, and the only female artist to achieve 4 singles that have sold at least 10 million copies globally. Her accolades include 13 Grammy Awards, 18 MTV Music Video Awards, 16 Guinness World Records, awards from the Songwriters Hall of Fame, the Council of Fashion Designers of America, recognition as Billboard's Artist of the Year, Woman of the Year in 2015,
Mhm.
been included in the Forbes Power Rankings and ranked fourth on VH1's Greatest Women in Music in 2012. Um, Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2010 and 2019, and placed her on their all-time 100 fashion icons list. Her philanthropy and activism focuses a lot on mental health awareness, which is huge, and LGBTQA plus rights. In 2012, she founded the Born This Way Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization aiming to empower youth, improve mental health, prevent bullying. Uh, she did also in 2019 launch a vegan cosmetics brand called House Labs, Haus
Mhm.
Labs.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, she's just, oh, I didn't know this. She's bisexual.
Yeah,
Yes,
I knew
I
that.
did not know that she's openly bisexual.
Mhm.
But yeah, she is a huge activist for LGBTQ rights. I think that a lot of us know her because of that.
Yeah.
Trans
I don't
rights.
know, maybe she did openly date a woman. I don't remember. I don't know if that was something that
Yeah,
you would know if you were, like, following her, like, relationships or if that's something that she had mentioned, because she's done, like you said, a lot with the LGBTQ community,
right,
and pride parades especially, like, she does a ton of those,
right,
so I can't remember though if that how I learned of that.
right. Um, and I guess I didn't realize if it was like I don't want to call it a publicity stunt because I knew it wasn't that, but if it was more of a like, Britney Christina kissing Madonna at the VMA is kind of a situation, or actually like date, like having a serious
Right.
relationship with a woman, kind of a thing. But either way,
Good for her.
fantastic. Good on you. Yeah. But she was named the Queen of Pop in 2011 by the Rolling Stone magazine, based on record
Believe it.
sales and social media merits or metrics. Sorry. But yeah, she's just, and to watch her performances, or like I guess clips of her
Yeah.
performances, are just incredible. Um, and like she actually seems to like give a shit about her fans.
Mhm.
To
I would agree
be
with that.
pretty humble. In the sense of like she didn't, because she was somebody that was always put down. Again, mostly because of the way she
Yeah.
looked. Um, I remember seeing like a little clip of an interview, and I forget who did the interview. But they were, because I remember this going around back in the day when everybody was talking about that she must be a dude. She looks like a dude,
Yeah, which is so
whatever.
fucked up.
Right? Like that's never okay to say. But
No.
her response to somebody, like a reporter flat out asking if she was transgender, she went, "So what if I am?"
Yeah.
Like, so what?
So what? Yeah, who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
And like that
Literally
just
nobody.
really, yeah, that really hit me like, yeah, damn, girl. Like, you go, like, yeah, who cares? Like, you're still hella talented, making a difference in the world. And she definitely, I think, deserves the fame that she's gotten. But yeah, her songs are just, they're fun, they're catchy. Some of the lyrics can be very powerful, and I hope she continues to have a very long career
Yeah.
going ahead of her.
I think she will. I don't see her, like, retiring anytime soon or
Right.
anything like that. Like, I think she's always gonna be, creating in some type of way. I think,
Yeah.
we're gonna see her branch out more, though, in her creative outlets, like, branching out into house labs. A lot of people think that, like, celebrity makeup lines and perfume lines and things like that are all cash grabs, and sometimes they are, but for someone like Lady Gaga, who I mean, her look was so integral to who she was as an artist with, like we've said, the meat dress, all that kind of stuff. She's very clearly into makeup and into fashion and into things like that. So for
Right.
me, it makes sense that she would come up with
Right.
a line of her own cosmetics. How much she's involved, that no one will ever know because that's,
Right.
those are company secrets. If she's
Right.
physically in there picking out the colors, who knows? I would hope so, just because
Yeah.
of like I said, what I think of her creativity. So I think we'll always see her in some sort of creative role for sure.
Right. Right. But yeah, I mean, she is just fucking hella talented. And
Yeah.
is just remembering, I've seen she's come up a lot on like my Facebook videos lately, where clips of her performing or like interviews. But the one I saw today was, I guess, her first piano teacher was a stripper. And
Huh.
she always had these really long nails, and she's like, as a
Yeah.
little kid, I asked her, "Why do you get to have such long nails?" She's like, "You tell me always to keep my nails really short so I can always find the right positioning and stuff." And I guess the teacher just went, "Someday you'll know why my nails are so long," or something like that. But yeah, and then she found out as an adult that her first piano teacher had been a stripper, and I was just like, the way she tells stories like that,
Hmm.
she's so funny, but like she's very like dry and kind of deadpan, but she's
Yeah.
so funny. Um, and just her determination, like she knew she had
Hmm.
something worth the world hearing, the world needed to hear it. And even though she had been told consistently, she wasn't good enough or she wasn't enough, she just kept driving for it and going forward. And I think that that's something very much to admire, about
I
her.
wish I
But
could remember the story, but um, the way she got her name is related to Queen somehow because of their song Radio Gaga. But I can't
yeah,
remember. I think it was something that was given to her by like somebody else made a comment like about that, but I can't remember the story now.
and I
But
can't
side
find
note,
anything
I
on
also love
here,
the song Radio Gaga, so
right?
it's so very good. Queen's the best.
Right.
But yeah, I can't remember how that came about. Um,
Yeah. Let me see
uh,
if I can find it in here.
yeah, I am.
It's in the
I'm like trying to see if I can pull it up quickly.
right.
Um, because I remember seeing that
I
years and
saw
years
like a
ago.
little and I saw like a little video recently. It was like a little blurb about how
Yeah,
because like her friend started calling her Gaga or something.
right.
Um and she
Let's
wrote
see.
the song Hold My Hand for Top Gun Maverick. Hmm.
Let's see. So, in an early interview with Oprah Winfrey, Gaga attributed her name's origin to the 1984 Queen song Radio Gaga. She went on to describe how Gaga was just a nickname her friends had for her in New York, and her producer, um, I guess, included that, and it just kind of stuck. At the time, the artist told Oprah to call her Gaga as she thought it just felt weird when people call her Lady. Later interview with Flyby magazine in 2010, she told a similar story. In the interview, Gaga said that her former boyfriend and producer Rob Fusari was the one who first started to call her Gaga. He started to call me Gaga when I'd come into the studio. She said that the article was later deleted despite being archived by numerous websites. I decided that I've been playing under my real name for so long, I wanted to reinvent myself. So I said, what about Lady Gaga? Because Gaga is sort of crazy and lady has such connotations.
Right.
Gaga and Fusari's relationship ended by 2008, the year of Gaga's debut release, The Fame. Um, Fusari, who had a producing credit on the album, would go on to file a $30.5 million lawsuit claiming that Gaga owed him money from song royalties and also alleging that he had been the one to come up with her stage name and get her a record deal. As part of the lawsuit, Fusari claimed that he would call Germanata Gaga after the Queen song Radio Gaga. One day, Fusari claims that his phone autocorrected Radio Gaga to Lady Gaga and that Germanata loved it. Fusari later dropped the charges against the singer in September 2010.
Yeah.
So it sounds like
Hmm.
it was kind of a mixture of stories is how we came to what we thought it was. That's
Right.
probably why I thought it because of the lawsuit. I'd heard about the lawsuit at the time saying that he would call her Gaga in relationship to the song and then it changed it to Lady Gaga. She's saying that Gaga was just kind of like a thing that she had been called and she said, well, let's class it up a bit and add lady to the front of it.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, and she got her start too, doing burlesque shows
mhm,
and stuff like that,
right.
which I had forgotten to mention. But yeah, uh, she started playing piano at age 4 because her mother insisted she become a cultured young woman. Uh,
How'd that work out?
right? But the lessons
Her mom
taught
was
her to
like
state music by
imagining.
ear, which she performed over reading sheet music, or she
Yeah.
preferred listening over sheet music. Her parents encouraged her to pursue music and enrolled her in the creative arts camp as a teenager. She played open mic nights. Oh, she played at. She'd be perfect for Adelaide and Guys and Dolls. Sorry, as a stage
Yeah.
director, my like junior year for Guys and Dolls, but she'd be a great Adelaide. Um, but in high school, she studied method acting at the Lee Strasberg Theater and the Film Institute for 10 years. Uh,
Method acting, I could go on a whole rant about that, but I'm not going to.
right.
We'll keep it to ourselves for now. Maybe later.
She unsuccessfully auditioned for New York shows, though she did appear in a small role as a high school student in a 2001 episode of The Sopranos.
Hmm.
But she later said of her inclination towards music, I don't know exactly where my affinity for music comes from, but it's the thing that comes easiest to me. When I was like 3 years
Okay.
old, I may have been even younger. My mom always tells this really embarrassing story of me propping myself up and playing the keys like this because I was too young and short to get all the way up there, just to go like this on the low end of the piano. I was really, really good at piano. So my first instincts were to work so hard at practicing the piano. I might not have been a natural dancer, but I'm a natural musician. That is at least the thing that I believe that I'm the greatest at. But huh,
Nice.
yeah. No, she is just I mean, I find her fascinating. I think
Yeah,
she's somebody like I would love to sit down and just have a conversation with because she does seem like
for
very down to
sure.
earth. And like her, I guess with Bradley Cooper and for A Star Is Born,
Hmm.
he really wanted her involved in the movie, and he brought the script over
Right.
to her after she kind of went like, whatever. So
Yeah.
he came to her house, brought the script, and sat down at the piano. And she's like, I reheated pasta from the night before. So she's like warming up leftovers for the two of them to
Right.
eat, and he's playing piano and starts singing, and like she just went and joined him, and like the two of them together, like their chemistry is so amazing.
Oh, well,
And
yeah,
I
there's
think
so many
Bradley Cooper
rumors
has
that
that
they
with a
were.
lot of women. Yeah,
Yeah.
like him and Jennifer Lawrence, and him and Lady Gaga, like, and hi Bradley Cooper,
I mean, he's just good at his job. Like, that's what
right?
it comes down to.
Oh my God,
And some people are
Chris,
just like naturally
you will bawl your
charismatic
eyes
and
out if you
enigmatic.
have a heart in your cold dead soul. Um, I was not expecting to cry as hard as I did in that movie, and I think it's part of
Yeah.
because of where I was at in my own
Mm,
life and who I was with when I first saw it.
right.
But that too, like it's a beautiful movie and it's very well done. Uh, but yeah,
Sorry, I was trying
she's
to crack my
fucking
neck.
killed. No, you're good. I also need to try to do that, but it's gonna
Yeah.
take a while. Uh,
But yeah, that makes
but yeah,
sense why you
so
would pick her.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, she kept coming up in videos of me watching, and I was just like, yep, I feel like
Yeah.
this is a good week to have her as the femme fatale. So,
Absolutely.
um, right, yeah, she's
We're always seeking
phenomenal,
your approval, Chris. So thank you.
always, and a race.
Always.
I love a race.
Yeah, we are always taking the race too.
But
Um,
anyway, I think that's all we have for tonight,
I think
maybe
so.
possibly.
Pretty
So
good.
thanks, guys,
Good
all
note to
for
end it on.
coming and hanging out. No, you built the company, you get the least money.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Right?
Just ask Jeff Bezos. All of his, warehouse workers would make way more money.
100%. That's
100%.
exactly how that all works.
Yep.
Sure,
Uh, sure.
that's fine. 'Cause I don't
Guys, thank you again so much for joining us this Tuesday and every Tuesday. If you have not yet given us a follow, please do that so you can be notified of when we go live. We are here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. The boys have their show Wednesdays at 6, and then we do community game nights on Thursdays at 8:30 or 7:30. So please join us for any of those events. We're happy to have you guys in our community. Also, be sure to join our Discord if you want to interact with us more on a regular basis. We're in there making a fool of ourselves pretty
Always.
regularly. So be sure to join us there. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking and feeling about this episode. Happy to, initiate that conversation with you there as well.
Good things only, please.
I think that was everything.
Yes, I think so. Like, that was a killer fucking wrap up. We still don't have an outro.